Low, 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 low. Did you read this? Somebody had pointed it out to me today. It's worth reading. There's a lot. A lot. Yeah. Yeah. People are going to come late because it's at the end of the meeting. Yeah. That's what I would do. Well, the topic's at the end of the meeting. So we'll do that topic first. Then. Yeah. It's the only copy I got. That's the only copy I got right now. Yeah, but it's perfect for the minute.
Oh my God! I'll sit next to the old people.
Oh, if you want to do it, never mind. Yeah.
Running our deputy? Yeah. Almost. You got here fast.
Three more minutes.
Good, not herself, huh?
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and stand up and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Peacock,
Here.
Councilmember Hartle,
Gladly here.
Councilmember Lay,
Present.
Councilmember Womack. Here. Mayor Wynkoop.
Here. Sean, would you mind doing our prayer?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Thank you.
It's an honor to be able to lead you in the invocation tonight. Please join me if you wish. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for just living in Montverde. Thank you so much for Montverde, this community, the people that are here today, this council. Boy, just keep us, help keep us grateful for that, the fact that we live here, and this is a wonderful community. And ask that you bless this time tonight. Give us wisdom and discernment. Give our elected officials, the representatives, the wisdom and discernment to make good choices tonight. We ask that you bless the families that are here and each and every one of the residents. Please keep them safe. Give them good words tonight, constructive words, words that will help further the purpose of this community, this great place that we live. And of course, Father, we thank you so much for the men and women that are protecting us in this country right now, this great nation. And on the eve of 9/11, help us to have a thoughtful today, tomorrow, one of remembrance, one where we shall never forget, one where we remember as a nation how we can actually be unified. And help us to just have that spirit of unification tomorrow. Thank you, Father, so much. It's in your Son's holy name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Can we start off with the proclamation acknowledging the Constitution Week 2024? If you would, please, Anita.
Whereas September 17th, 2024 marks 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document and the anniversary of its creation, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, Joe Wynkoop, Mayor of the Town of Montverde in the state of Florida, does hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2024 be Constitution Week in Montverde, Florida, and ask the citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution as they had in 1787.
Thank you very much. Do we need to vote on this?
No.
I didn't think so, okay. All right, well, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and sign that and get that moving forward. The next thing is I have an Eagle Scout. Her name is Annabelle, and I'd like her to come up and talk to everybody. Yeah.
Good evening, Town Council members. My name is Annabelle Baggett, and I'm a Life Scout who is currently the Senior Patrol Leader of Troop 4786 in Montverde. I first found out about scouting when my family and I lived in Hanoi, Vietnam, because my father worked for the State Department at the U.S. Embassy. My older brother joined a Cub Scout pack that was chartered by the local American International School in the city. When my father received his next federal government assignment, we relocated to Brentwood, California, where I joined Cub Scouts and finished the program by earning my Arrow of Light. After we moved again to Claremont, I joined a Scouts BSA troop. During the past few years, I've enjoyed making new friends and overcoming many obstacles and challenges, which has helped me in my journey as a scout and a teenager. But what has truly been my guiding star of late has been doing my best to live by the Scout Oath and Law on a daily basis. I've always been a little intimidated by the idea of an Eagle Scout project, but once I picked the focus to be on something that I hold really close to my heart, my perspective significantly changed and my anxiety went away. 2 years ago, my aunt passed away from stage 4 stomach cancer. We only had a little less than a year to spend with her during her time on Earth after we heard the diagnosis. Our loss really took a toll on my family and me. I had a great deal of time to reflect on the importance of honoring loved ones who have passed away, while also pondering, how could I ensure that their memories do not fade away? During the loss of some family members throughout my recent years, I have come to the realization that visiting loved ones often turns from 2 days to a week, once a month, yearly, or perhaps longer as time goes on in our lives. In an effort to honor those who have passed before us, for my Eagle Scout project, I am proposing to initiate a Beautification Day project for the Montverde Cemetery. My proposal will be comprehensive in nature, where I will identify and gather volunteers who will pull weeds, perform weed eating as necessary, and pick up any trash on cemetery grounds. Also, for any gravestones that need extra care, my volunteer team and I will delicately clean them by using non-toxic cleaners and scrub them in order to enhance their appearance. Coming from a U.S. military and U.S. Foreign Service family, paying tribute to veterans is important to us. In light of this, special attention will be paid to the veterans who have been laid to rest in the cemetery. Overall, I believe this project will truly not only give back to the community, but will also allow volunteers of this project to pay tribute to those who have come before us, while also helping to keep their memories in their minds on that day as well as in the future. I hope that when my project concludes, the relatives of those who are buried in the cemetery will be more at peace and relieved that their family members have been honored by today's generation of young adults and adults who have embraced the Scout Law by being reverent during the proposed day of the beautification for the Montverde Cemetery. At this time, I respectfully request that the Montverde Town Council consider my Eagle Scout project proposal. Please let me know if you have any questions at this time, and I thank you for your consideration.
All right. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? Alan, Jim, you got any questions?
No, I think it's a great idea, and congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, congratulations.
I honor you for honoring our vets. Thank you.
It means a lot to me, my family, and everyone else in this world. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
So Annabelle,
Thank you for the opportunity.
I was going to say get a hold of me in the town hall and we'll coordinate with you to get that project set up, okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for offering. Alrighty, now we're gonna ask anybody that has anything they want to talk to the council about that's not on the agenda, come on up right now and take your time. We'll all talk.
Dennis Young, 16326 Florence Oak Court. There are 2 cul-de-sacs in Magnolia Terrace. The other one has a nice sign that says no thoroughfare, no outlet, whatever. Our cul-de-sac would like one also. Please don't put dead end. I don't want that one. Thank you.
Where's that at?
Florence Oak Court.
Okay.
Hello, John Keys, 16831 Florence View. Simple offer. Candy and I would like to offer a donation of shade trees for the new dog park because it gets hot out there and it would be really nice for the dogs to have it out there. So.
Oh, thank you. That's interesting. I guess why don't you get with Paul and figure out where we can do is put his tree over there. That'd be wonderful. Alrighty. Anybody else like to talk to the council? Alrighty. We'll go ahead and move down the agenda here. Let's do our town manager's report next.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a couple quick updates. I want to let you know the town has launched this new website. There's still a lot of areas we need to work on to kind of get updated, but at least the format's up there so you can look at that. Appreciate Sandy's been working on that for about 9 months now. As the council's aware, just a quick update, we did have a lightning strike near Town Hall. It took out about 8 cameras around the park and in the Town Hall area, some switches and servers, the logic out of one of our potable wells. Our well is in addition to one of our irrigation wells. So we're almost back up on everything. We still got a few little things to get done, such as cameras along that line, but we'll obviously be turning that in for a insurance claim on behalf of the town. Just a quick update on the capital projects. With obviously John Arellano's assistance, the library is moving along nicely. You can see the base of the structure now, and the teams have kind of geared toward inside. The rough plumbing has been completed on the inside. They're working on the rough end electrical, and the rough end mechanical is also going in there. And low voltage will start in there next week. So things are moving along there pretty nicely. You should start seeing some more work in the next 2 or 3 weeks on the outside, such as siding and rock. In addition, they started installing the windows yesterday, so things will be changing daily there, so as you drive by, you can keep an eye out on that. Just want to remind everybody, Trunk or Treat is around the corner, so the Town Hall team is working to get that set up along with Montverde. So Trunk or Treat is October 31st, which is Thursday. And that will be before Montverde this year. Then Montverde is November 1st and 2nd. So we got some great bands lined up. We're going to have a lumberjack show this year. They're going to be chainsawing and log rolling and log climbing and whatever else lumberjacks do. So that should be kind of fun. But I also just want to take a moment to really, the last couple of months, thank my town hall team here. Both the inside staff and the public works have really been putting in a lot of hours, a lot of overtime, just trying to keep caught up with a lot of the busy stuff going on between development, requests coming into town, service requests, and all the capital projects. So also getting the budget out the door, things along that line. And so I really appreciate all their work and their efforts. I just wanted to acknowledge them at the meeting. And be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
All righty. Anybody? All righty. Thank you very much. We'll ask Anita if you have anything.
No report, thank you.
All right, thank you. And Sean, do you have anything?
Reporting as your town planner, nothing, working on the comprehensive plan. We'll have that wrapped up here pretty soon. It goes to the Planning and Zoning Board next, and then we'll come in front of you all 11 or 12 elements of the comprehensive plan to amend those, get those up to date. So you have that to look forward to. It's coming real soon. That's it.
All right, and you're down and as your commissioner?
Yeah, as a commissioner, so we just got out of our budget hearing. First one tonight came right.
Sean, can you pull the mic just a little bit?
Okay, sorry about that. I always do that. So we just got out of our budget hearing tonight to come to this meeting. We passed our budget. Everything, you're the same thing you're going to go through tomorrow. So all that's been passed. We have another reading coming up on September 24th, which would be the next hearing. That's in 2 weeks, right? I think. 2 weeks from tonight. So if you want to come, you can come out and certainly voice your concerns or voice support. We'll be there at 5:05. Would also like to ask the council or let you know, and anybody in the audience know as well. The land acquisition referendum is on the ballot November 5th. You've heard me say that probably every meeting now, almost. It is on the ballot for November 5th. On September 26th, there is a kickoff meeting. I guess I'll call it kickoff meeting. It's a campaign kickoff meeting that the public is invited to. The council members are as well. September 26th, 5:30 to 7:30 at Cherry Lake. And you get any information that you want about that referendum. If you want to get a yard sign or be on a volunteer list to help support that land acquisition referendum, renewal referendum for November 5th, please come out that day, or you can check out the website, and I'll certainly give you when that website is up and running, I'll give that website to the council members, and we can get that out as well. So, but would like to ask that if the town is interested in supporting that referendum, certainly we would welcome that support if you wanted to do that. I wouldn't ask you if I thought that I know you all are talking to you individually, have been supportive of that referendum, and so maybe it's something that you wanted to do as a town. You could make a statement supporting the referendum, and we would certainly use that in the effort to get the word out about the referendum. So,
How would you think we should do it?
if you want to, I don't know if Anita's got a thought to that as well, but you could just do it through a resolution, I guess, is probably the best way to do it. That would be very helpful.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, we're pretty short time on this thing though. About a month or so? So a short time.
We could bring it back at your next regular council meeting, would probably be the next time.
Okay.
Right. So in October.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll take care of it.
Okay.
Thanks for the suggestion.
Yes, and of course, I ask you this on my behalf and my behalf only, not on the behalf of the county commission, so I need to make that very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for doing it.
No, thank you. Yes, sir.
When you say cherry,
Oh, you gotta come up.
I just want to look
Sorry.
at the tree farm. Where's the campaign starting?
yeah,
That's Matthew Bauman, 1122 Imperial Eagle Street, Groveland, Florida. Is that the tree farm?
Yeah, thank you, Matthew, for asking. Yeah, Cherry Lake Tree Farm in Groveland, yes.
What was the date again?
September 26th, 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone's invited.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Alrighty, let's go around the room. How about Alan? Do you have anything that's not on the agenda you want to talk about?
I just want to say thank you for your prayer, Sean. That was nice to remember tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think this past week I've been thinking, probably many of you have, how our lives have been changed since September 11th. All those who've lost family members, those who've been wounded warriors. We owe a debt that it's amazing how one evil act can change the history of our country. So it kind of strikes home with me too. So thank you for our vets who serve. Appreciate you.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Jim, Peacock?
Oh, nothing from me tonight.
Jim Lay?
You know, on the same thought, I'd mentioned on my uncle who landed on D-Day, he died last week. And so they have a YouTube out on him. Yeah, and it's Carlson/John Lay, L-E-Y, of course. And he spends 40 minutes talking about being an eyewitness at the feet of 100 yards off of Omanal Beach on a destroyer as a singleman, doing it with the guns, and all the American soldiers, 9,000 died on that beach, and watching all the dead soldiers. So it gets very emotional if you want to watch it on YouTube.
Thank you very much. Carol, do you have anything?
A quick question for you, Paul. I know that
Yeah, talk in the mic, please.
when we talked about doing the upgrades to the park and all that, we mentioned the public restrooms. Where are we on that?
Sure. So actually the footings have been dug for them, and we have put in the rough-in electrical main that's going to serve it. And I think Thursday they're supposed to do the underground rough-in plumbing on it. So I'm possibly as early as the end of the month you might see something vertical go up on that.
No chance it'll be done by Montverde, though.
There's always a chance, but it's pushing.
Like winning the lotto.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know if we would have the septic in by then be the issue.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, no.
Alrighty, that's it. The only thing I have is the interlocal service boundary agreement we've been working on to get Ferndale in place to not be able to do more than one home per 5 acres. It did get done, it is in place. And you're going to finish that, right?
The county attorney's office is collecting all signatures from all the parties, and once that's completed, it'll be recorded and circulated among, I think the CDD, they were going to approve it last week, and then everybody should have submitted by then.
Thank you. So we don't have to worry about anything, apartments, malls, anything going into Ferndale for 20 years. So that's been taken care of. It's the only way we could be attached. And I want to
Just a quick note.
Anita did a fantastic job, and so did Sean, at
So
helping
did
us
you.
with this project. They
So
did
did, so
awesome.
did you for leadership, Joe. You did great.
It's a
Thank you.
team effort. It's a team effort. But thank you very much. Okay, let's move on. Finance report, we started with $5,045,884.82. We ended up with a balance of $6,030,963.11. Our grant clearing account has $4,098,703.89, and the total is $9,589,806.76. Move on to the consent agenda, which is all the minutes for the 4 meetings right below it. Does anybody want to speak about any of these minutes? Have any changes? If not, I just need a motion to approve all 4.
I so move the consent agenda be approved as posted.
Alrighty, I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you. And we'll move on to ordinance 2024-38, if you would, please.
An ordinance of the Town of Montverde, Florida, amending the Town of Montverde Land Development Code to include public notice requirements for land development applications and amending various sections in the Town of Montverde Land Development Code to be consistent with the public notice requirements adopted herein, providing for codification and severability, providing for the repeal of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this ordinance is our second reading, and this ordinance is more or less to put everything in order where you can, either resident or us or anybody could go to one spot. Paul worked on it for a long time, so let me let you explain it. Go ahead.
Sure, yeah, exactly what you said, Mayor. So in various different sections of our land development code, there's posting requirements, mailing requirements for land development actions, and we've grabbed all those requirements out of different sections. We're going to put them in one table so that it's easy for staff and easy for the public to read what the requirements would be for sending mailers out. In addition, when you made the motion for the first reading, you asked us to amend for zoning issues that the mailings go from 300 feet to 600 feet. So this this final reading does include that new provision in it.
Okay, so when you guys are out there wanting to know something about land development, you only got to go to one page, read the small description, and then go read the whole thing if you want. It's a lot easier than it used to be, and it's a lot easier than the counties. Okay, I'll open it up to the public. Anybody want to talk about it? Okay, I'll bring it back to council. Anybody want to talk about it? If not, I just need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance 2024-38 as written.
Got a motion? I need a second.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, we'll move on to Resolution 2024-128, if you would, please.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Montverde, Florida, approving the transportation impact fee agreement between the Town of Montverde, Florida and Montverde Academy Incorporated for Porter Avenue roadway improvements and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this is, the Academy has a project going on, and they want to get with the town and work together with building something for the town at the same time. Would you like to come up and explain it, Brad? A little better than I would.
Brad Long, 17201 9th Street. So we have the Porter Avenue access road that we put in for a site plan and a right-of-way utilization permit. So we're asking for a credit back on the transportation fees for other projects we have going on. So this is kind of a helping those tax credits back on the impact fees back to the academy that would kind of fund the parking that's on Porter Avenue. The quick version, I should say.
How many spaces is there? Tough question.
There
There
is
it's right there.
30 spaces.
36?
Mm.
This this is gonna be after the fire station moves out.
This is on the other side of the road of, so this is on,
Okay, okay, where's the fire station reference to this?
fire station will be on the top side of the drawing.
Yeah, when they come out, I'm just simply saying. No effect on the
No,
turn?
no issue.
And we're working with Paul as well on this drawing here itself to make sure that if we can get it done before Montverde and have Lime Rock down, it can be used for Montverde. If not, we're gonna hold off until after Montverde.
I hope you get it done. That'd be
I hope
nice.
so too, but we're just, got some things
So-
we're working on.
Okay, so we're gonna credit some impact fees here, so how does
Just
the
for
amount get
transportation.
started? What are we thinking?
Yeah, so the credit is for just the parking that they're doing in the public right-of-way for public use, which they can also use for their events. And it's for that cost only. They'll turn in an estimate to us. The credit is just off of street impact fees that they pay to the town for the projects. And you may have to correct me, for the next 18 months. Is that correct, Nita? Is what we have in there? Yeah, it's either for 12 or 18 months. I apologize. They just get a credit. They're not paying those street impact fees, but then they're building this for the public. And if you recall, these original parking spaces were in our library site plan that the town was going to put in and pay for. So they're doing it for us ahead of time and paying for it, and then getting a credit on the back end. Okay, and the estimate was $52,000.
So we would be collecting $52,000 in impact fees. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Is that what you're?
Oh, it may not get to that amount. It just depends on what the cost of this is to put in.
But we would approve up to that amount.
Correct.
Okay.
Because this originally was going to be built with the town funds.
The only other thing I have is on number 5, there's a completion date. There's no completion date. I guess we're trying to get it done before Montverde.
Yeah, so that date could be anything. It was just, if the project on their behalf lingered past a certain date and the town wants to go ahead and do the work, we were just gonna put a date in there that, if they don't get it done within 12 months, then the town has the right to go in and do it. Whatever date you might wanna put in there is fine.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it. Do you guys understand that? Okay, so think about that for a minute. Let me open it up to the public. Anybody like to talk about it? Okay, I'll bring it back to the council. Go ahead if you want to talk about it.
A win-win.
The 52,000 is, it looks like that's the construction cost. Okay.
Yes. Just for the stuff that's on Porter only.
Right. So what kind of credit are we giving them back?
Up to that amount.
Up to that amount. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
But when you say that, is it just for this project, the credit?
No, so they have a number of projects that are gonna be coming before council or have already. And so it would be a credit as to those projects.
So,
There's current projects that applications have been submitted for, and so they would get the transportation impact fee credits as to those projects.
Until they reach the amount.
Correct.
Okay.
so indirectly, the town's paying for it. Because we would have collected that 52,000.
Yes.
Correct. They're just doing it ahead of time. And the only other thing with the Academy, and I'm thankful they did this, just trying to build that partnership with us, they're going to handle all the stormwater detention for the parking spaces in their current stormwater parking, where the town would have had to handle that. So it would have cost the town a little bit more money to do this, because we would have to build storm detention.
Where's that? In the parking lot we let them use now?
No, for these parking spaces, they're going to allow that to drain into their current stormwater detention, because they currently have capacity in there. If the town was to build it, the town would have to build stormwater capacity to handle that. So that is going to save the town some money down the road. The town couldn't do the project for $52,000. In other words, they can because they have the stormwater.
They won't be used that much, will they, Paul? Special events? people coming into town hall.
Yeah, I mean, example, tonight, I'm sure the parking lot's probably full out there, so that would give some additional spaces when we have concerts, events, and things along that line. In the academy, where they really want to use them is when they have like their theater events and things along that line. They need some overflow to come over when they have big events as well, or the ESPNs in town, so.
Is the academy gonna allow their staff to use them?
That's
That's a question that,
Yeah, and I could probably answer that real quick. When we talked about it and work with the academy, we're going to establish like between regular business hours, like a 4-hour maximum parking or something along that line. So
kinda
it's
like the parking
restricted.
lot we had,
No,
they filled up pretty quick.
yeah, it'll have a parking time limit on them.
I want to mention to my neighbors on 4th Street, one of the things here is as they pull out, they're going to have to find a place to turn around and go back toward the other direction. So they'll probably be coming down to 4th Street or back around to Lakeside or something, because they're heading that way, heading east. So,
Question for you, Paul. Going forward, once this is completed, will this project be maintained or by the town? Or how is that, they're giving it to us and it's kind of a,
Yeah, it'll be town property, town parking lot, correct.
I think it's a good idea for the town, myself. We could use the space, and I do believe $50,000, $52,000 would be about what it would take for us to build it, without a doubt.
How will you enforce the parking time?
Yeah, so that's always, and actually, Mr. Parks and Anita, they're working on some updated ordinances to our parking code that we'll probably have to you at the first of the year to kind of deal with parking. And so we do have authority to regulate parking. It's just it's involves working through the Lake County court system and things along that line. So there's quite a few processes that have to be set up in intergovernmental agreements. So we've been working on that literally for about 6 or 9 months because we have issues in certain areas, obviously.
Well, I understand, and I don't have a problem with this, but I know human nature, Montverde Academy employees are going to pick the parking space closest to where they work. So,
that's why I asked that question, because y'all do a very good job of encouraging your employees to follow the rules. That was my issue.
What about the lot you bought on the corner? What's the plans for that? You're not gonna be parking?
It's a theater department at the moment.
You're referencing the Porter Avenue and 7th Street lot. That is currently just a empty lot. We're doing some site plan reviews with our architects, but that's probably 2 years down the road. We could use that as a temporary parking area for overflows, but there's something right now as a stage parking lot.
yeah, I mentioned here the pile of debris that's still there, that's gonna.
Yeah, so that debris, I actually have tree guys coming tomorrow to do some trimmings on campus and everything else. I actually put that on their list to hopefully remove that in the morning. Thank you.
So, did you just say we could use it for Mount Verde?
If the town is willing to give liability coverage.
That's what I thought I heard.
All right, you want me to make a motion?
Wait a minute, we have a young lady coming up.
Make a motion that we.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Oh, got one talking? Oh, come on up. 4th Street resident.
Kathy Murphy, 17408 4th Street. I was just wondering, the cars that are parking on Porter, they're going to come out, they're going to go down 4th or 3rd, right? And,
They're gonna turn around somewhere.
okay,
If they're unknowledgeable, they might try to turn into 4th, which is gonna be a dead end, basically, or they could go down to 3rd and loop.
right.
They're
And
going
then
to turn
Franklin
around.
isn't done yet. Is that in the works to be done? And also 5th? So we can have some of the traffic move away from the town. Is that gonna be done in the near future?
It was my concern too.
Thank you.
I don't think it's gonna be a huge problem, because it's only thing gonna be special events and stuff like that, and they're gonna be lost anyhow.
Okay.
So, but people who actually come in town hall and whatever to use it regularly, they're gonna know that they're gonna have to make a turn somewhere quickly, and to head back, but they could always just come back out Lakeside, if they know that.
Right.
I mean, maybe we could put up a little placard, here's how you get out.
But will Franklin be finished at some point?
Huh?
Will Franklin be finished at some point?
One way?
No, will it be finished at some point? Because it's blocked off right now.
It's closed.
Franklin's
Because of the
closed.
library
Yeah,
construction.
yeah, we're not gonna reopen that. The library, there could be a walk across between the courts and the library.
Oh,
That's why your street's gonna go
There's
like
a
this, go
barrier,
like this,
yeah.
and then there's gonna be a loop.
okay.
I think Paul is gonna open it up Lakeside or not.
Yeah, we'll have it connect to Lakeside.
Okay.
That's the plan. We'll probably go ahead and pave it too as well.
And so Fifth's gonna go all the way through?
No. The 5th is the street you're on, right?
No, I'm Fourth.
You're 4th.
Fifth is where that,
Oh, no,
Maintenance guys.
5th is just going to be a parking lot in front of the dog park, and that's it.
okay,
So it's going to stop right there. So cars can't spin around and come around the circle, so.
okay. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and feel free, I know you walk a lot. When you see me out there, just wave me down, I'll show you what the plan is out there, so.
Alrighty. So the only thing we have left is the date. What's the date we want to get on there that's drop dead date? 6 months? Is 6 months enough? 6 or 12?
Let's do 8.
So, we'll do 8?
Yep.
If we do it, is 8 okay? Okay. Anybody else want to talk about it? So we're going to credit them $52,000. So we're going to be putting $52,000 into it, which is still a good price. And we need it.
Unless they take care of the storm.
You guys okay with it?
Sorry, I missed that part.
We're going to spend $52,000 on this project one way or another. And $52,000 for what they're going to do is, I feel, a fair price. If anybody has more experience,
It's okay
please
with
step
me,
up.
'cause they're bidding on the project, and the project is what it's gonna cost, whatever comes down the road.
Right, they're going to have to pay no matter what. Right.
And we get the benefit of the parking spaces, so that works.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
And we get parking spaces, so that works.
Yeah, we need the parking spaces.
And if I could kindly remind council members, because we do have quite a few people online, if you can please pull your microphones closer.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make a motion that resolution number 2024-128 be approved.
I need a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, give me a second here. Alrighty. We'll go ahead and, if you would, please, Anita, read 2024-130.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Montverde, Florida, approving the Lake County Water Authority Water Management Grant Program Agreement to fund the Town of Montverde Abrams Road Boat Ramp improvements, authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and providing for an effective date.
Okay, so this is the boat ramp we have down on the corner there, and Lake County is going to give us some money to do it. It's $80,000, isn't it? Yeah, it's $80,000, and we just have to more or less accept it. So this is all about getting $80,000 from the Water Authority and spending it on the boat ramp down off of Abram and making it usable. So I know there's a lot of people that would like that, including Lake County. I'll open it up to the public. Okay, I'll bring it back to council.
Oh, what page was that, what you got
It's
all the grant money for the boat ramp?
let's see.
So that'll actually be in your budget book.
Sir?
It's in your budget book that you'll.
I know, but do you remember what page it was?
I don't off the top of my head.
Anyhow, there's several people have given us money for this boat ramp, all public. And so we've had several people come up and express, we want to keep this to Mount Verdeans. The county's paying for it, the water authorities are paying for it, so we're not paying for it, they are. So
We still own it.
we still own it though.
Yeah, we still own it.
But we really can't kick them out.
We can't make it private.
Well,
We cannot make it private.
No.
Yes.
As long as they behave themselves, we won't kick them.
And Mayor and Council, just so you know, on our second budget hearing, 18th, Sandy, on the 18th, because they need to get it signed by the end of the month, I'm going to be bringing another resolution forward
You can bring them here, Patty.
to approve an additional $100,000 from Lake County that will go toward the boat ramp. So we have this Lake County Water Authority for 80, and we'll have another one from Lake County for 100,000.
Have you done any bids or preliminary budgets on the cost of this yet?
We've done some initial takeoffs from the engineers. Really, I wish we could have it done, but what we're waiting for, we know the developers for the Osgood property are going to be coming forward, and we're requiring them to give us some additional right-of-way along that street, so we actually have a place to build the parking spaces. So we're basically waiting for this to kind of go through that process and get done. In addition, that 100,000 is Lake County is going to use the boat ramp for a staging area while they build the huge tower at Ferndale Preserve, because they can't get to it. So they're going to kind of load some barges up and take some stuff out to the Ferndale. So that's kind of the lieu for the 100,000 that we're getting.
80,000 is not going to buy you much improvement.
No, well, and I don't have the exact one, but there's 3 different grants that are going to go in this, all grant funded. The first one is this 80,000, the 100,000 that you're going to see next week. Then I believe there's 200,000 and some change, I don't remember off the top of my head, from the DEP grant that we were able to get for clean water to build the stormwater detention for it.
So this is going to be a total rebuild of that entire.
Yeah, we'll be just under $500,000 we'll have to spend on that of free grant money.
But again, a total rebuild of the entire ramp.
That's the plan, yeah.
Not just repairs, but rebuild.
Yeah, build it all the way down into the water and build some parking spaces, correct. And stormwater detention for it too.
Paul, on page 2, it talks about the agreement has 36 months before it terminates. Can we get this done in 3 years?
Well, and honestly, part of it, we might be able to start some of it, but till the county finishes that project, we don't want to do it because they may tear it up if they brought a heavy truck in.
Well, that's what I was concerned about. We're waiting for them, but they have us tied into a time frame. So it's kind of it's a circular firing squad. We're in the middle. So.
And there are a lot of things that have to fall in place because we have limitations on our DEP grant. We have limitations on this grant. We're going to be waiting on the county for construction, and the Osgood property, that who knows, how quick that'll go or not go. So that'll take some time as well.
Well, I was just concerned. I thought, 3 years goes by pretty quick, and I just didn't want us to go, oh, sorry, the money ran out. We ran out of the agreement. The way it's written here, it's like cancellation after 36 months. I just didn't want us to run out of oops.
No, thank you. And if for some reason we get stretched, we got a great county commissioner that we could probably contact and help us with that.
All righty.
Thank you.
Guess I'll open it up to the public. Anybody wants to talk about the boat ramp? We're going to collect $28 million and only spend that $500,000.
I'm Pam Cox. I live on 17705 Broad Street, right up the hill from the boat ramp. And I'm wondering if the developers are going to be able to supply a parking area next to the left of the boat ramp. Are we going to be able to get them to offer to put an acre or so? Because if they have all of those houses in that development, if you're going to build buy a house in that development, and you're on the west side of the 4th largest lake in Florida, 9 chances out of 10 you're going to have a boat. And they're going to need a place to park their trailers when they go into the lake. So are we going to be able to get the developers to supply maybe a half acre or an acre to the left of the boat ramp for those people to park their trailers when they go into the lake?
Yes.
Great. That's wonderful. I love Montverde.
Anybody else like to talk about it? All right, I'll bring it back to council. Need a motion or need a deny?
I so move resolution 2024-130 be approved.
Need a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, we'll move on to discussion items. First one is donation that we give to, the $500 donation we give to the Scouts every year. And would you guys like to do it? Again,
Yes.
okay, I'll open it up to the public first.
Okay.
Anybody want to hear more about our $500 donation to the local across the street?
They
Boy
have a
Scouts and Girl
booming
Scouts.
scout troop,
Yeah.
doing very well.
We used to give money to and it disappeared, never got around here. So we changed it, that we give them $500 direct.
I was tickled to pink to see a young lady make an eagle.
Yeah. And that box right there too, over there. If you have flags you need to throw away, that box that's what that's for. From the Scouts, you bring them here and put them in that box.
Yep.
I'll bring it back to council on the conversation.
Mayor and Scouts, I do just want to mention, because I know we need to put it on record, the Scouts, we do give them a donation, but they do take care of several service things in town, but particularly for all the holidays that honor veterans. They take care of putting all the flags and picking up all the flags on the cemetery.
We're going to give it to them. Anybody want to make a motion?
I so move we continue our heritage of donating to our local troop $500.
If it needs a second, I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, next one is talk about the lead service water lines. Paul, with the grant, had the town scanned and found, what was it, 80-something? 86 homes that have lead pipes from the street to their house, and we're going to be replacing those 86, and we need to discuss it. We got the money, right? So we just need to do it.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to give you a little update. So right now we're at in the phase, and this was a federal guideline that came down from EPA and obviously passed DEP to the locals. Governments. So we are required to inventory all of our service lines going from the meter to the house and identify both galvanized and lead line pipes. We have 2 that are true lead and 84 that are galvanized, like the mayor said, for a total of 86 that we've identified so far. We still have a couple unknowns. We are going to be required next month to send out notice to those property owners, making them aware of the potential hazards of having galvanized or lead lines. This is the whole Flint, Michigan, where it came from. In addition, the next step is for, which I'll bring at a future meeting, is for council to identify how they want to move forward with the replacement of those lines. The law, of course, 2 different people can read it and make it completely different conclusions, but basically it requires replacement of them. If we don't get them replaced, then there's additional testing of the water lines, the different notification requirements that the town will have to do every time we have a low pressure or a water line break, which will be very, very burdensome for the town. So within the next couple months, I'll have some additional information for the council to consider on the next steps of how we can help the property owners get those lines replaced and kind of move forward with that program.
Paul, are they centralized or in any given area of the town, say this way, that way, or?
The majority are on this side of town. There's a couple up 455, and then kind of this the Franklin Pond area probably is where they're at. In a future meeting, we've identified them and have every one of them on a GIS map, because in addition, we have to have that map accessible to the public in the next 60 days, so that'll be up on our website, an interactive GIS map where we've identified what type of line you have.
So we actually have lead water lines?
Two lead. And this is on the customer side of the meter, is where that. So 2 lead and 84 galvanized lines.
From the meter to the house, you're talking?
Correct. And so what the rule is those lines have to be replaced from the meter to the outside of the house. And that's all that has to be replaced for us to get everybody in compliance.
That's the town's responsibility?
It's the town responsibilities to make sure it gets done. So how it gets done, that's a whole different subject. So
That was a good point, Jim, like who pays?
We do, within this grant we got, and I want to say it was Sandy might be able to tell me, $175,000. 150,000 went to the study and the report and all the filing that has to be done to the DP. We have basically 25 grand left that we can utilize, which obviously won't get it all, but we are in queue to apply for additional funds if we want to. But with 86, that may not be the best scenario. That may end up costing more. So probably the approach I'm going to bring is, we can make a credit available to the customers to have them fix it because it is on their side. If the town goes in and does it, we got to get easements and all kinds of things that make it more difficult to do.
I'm just shocked that we have lead lines.
Correct.
How old are these things?
Well, we have some older houses in town. There's 2 lead lines, and
wow.
We do random lead and copper sampling in town, and we've never had any issue pop up. I will say part of the project of what the cost for the engineers are having to do for that 150, we have to redo, now that we have these results, we have to completely redo our lead and copper sampling plan and get that approved by DEP, and that sets a whole new sampling requirements for us. So those are all now considered tier 1 sample sites, which take priority over all the other sample sites.
So I got one of those water samples the other day, and of course I've had one 3 times. Does that mean I got a lead pipe?
No, so we have them now randomly spaced in town because the current rule is that it should be a representative of the town, and you look for some homes that are a little bit, actually I do it for the town as well, for my side of town, but you have your house may have a little more age on it, so that's why you were chosen. So you will probably go away, as I will go away, because we no longer be tier 1. The focus will be on those tier 1 sites. We're technically tier 3 and tier 4, depending on our age of the homes.
Alrighty, any more conversation?
Quick question, Paul. Did the government specify what material should be used to replace from the meter to the house?
Government think I had? No, come on. No.
Whatever's in code.
It's so weird because I had this conversation with the engineers. The rule reads that the lines must be replaced. Then it goes, if they're not replaced, here's what you do. So.
Alrighty.
I just had to ask, I'm sorry.
Open it up to the public. You guys want to ask any questions? Okay, bring it back. Any more conversation or motion?
Were we doing a motion on this?
Yeah, no actions required on this, Mayor.
I don't think so.
Yo, I'm sorry. I thought it was. Alrighty, so we're moving forward. What you're going to bring back, what it's going to cost, right? Yes. All right, great. All right, then let's move on to our favorite topic. Discussion on water treatment plant. How we're gonna handle this and, so it goes smooth is I'm gonna ask the council, each member to talk about this topic and whatever they want to say about it. Then I'm gonna open it up to the public, and then you guys can talk about whatever you want to say about it. So, who wants to go first?
Well, obviously, this is your...
No, you guys, whatever. Go ahead.
And Mayor, when do you want to do the slides and that?
Pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I have been asked, why do we need a sewer plant when we're on septic? Okay, a couple things about septic, maybe people don't realize. Septic tanks do not treat wastewater in any way whatsoever. Water flows into your house, into the septic tank, flows out into the drain field down in the environment. Soap, urine, chemicals, whatever you put down that drain ends up in the environment. Does no cleaning whatsoever on wastewater. Now septic tanks do treat the solid waste. The bacteria breaks those down, they sink to the bottom. Eventually, your tank fills up. That's why we recommend pumping every 4 years, maybe 5 years. Pump those solids out. I do mine around the presidential election. Something about the presidential election reminds me to pump a septic tank. Okay. Also, one other thing, because it is bacteria generated activated in the tank itself, we need to add Rid-X. There's several different products I have to add to help this along. Why? Because most, probably 100% now, of detergents, soap, dishwashing detergent, laundry detergent, are all antibacterial. So every time we add that soap to the septic tank, we disturb the bacteria. So adding those helps keep that system going. A properly functioning septic system, if it's clean, will last almost indefinitely. Also, if it's not pumped out, those solids will build up, and what happens then is that they flow out into the drain field and clog it up. A failed septic system is a failed drainage system on that, is what it is, on the drain field. So replacing that, and when it's just clogged, is a very expensive, messy proposition. So you want to keep your septic tanks operating properly on that. And also, when they're pumped out, all septic tanks, most of them have 2 lids, 2 compartments. Make sure they pump both when that's been done. So the problem with the state water system is mainly is septic tanks and then fertilizer runoff from lawns and commercial. From commercial operations, agricultural. That's the two main things that's killing the water system, that's failing the water systems in the state. So that's why we need a sewer system. Again, the drain field is no different than pouring that wastewater straight out onto the ground and letting it flow in. There's no difference whatsoever in that. It's not filtered in any way whatsoever. Okay. The other thing I want to mention is there were some concerns about the original location of the sewer plant affecting the water quality of our drinking water. The well that we have is 600 feet deep. The hard casing goes down to 377 feet, which means we're pulling our drinking water from 377 feet down to 600 feet. Okay? To affect the drinking water, that water would have sewer water would have to filter down through 377 feet of soil, and that's just not going to happen. Okay, so that is not a valid concern for that location. And also in that location, the south side of Lake Florence and all of Mag Terrace, I believe, were in the phase 1 hookup, which that's over 200 septic tanks, in my view. So in that location, again, those septic tanks would come offline when that sewer system comes online. So in that respect, that would be beneficial to the lake and to the environment and to the aquifer. And I'm not advocating that location over anything else one way or the other at this point. I'm just stating that the concerns about our water quality from that location and the effects of Lake Florence just are not valid concerns in my mind. Just want to make sure you're aware of that. We didn't get a chance to talk about that in the last meetings.
All righty.
Yeah.
Alan, you want to talk about it?
Thank you, Jim. You took a lot of my fire out of me, but I too have been asked, what do you think, why do we have to do this? We're going to tear the streets up. We're going to do all these things. It's going to be horrible. The earth will come to an end because Montverde tore our streets up. Well, if you tear streets up, you also have to fix them. Most of our streets, I think, are 80% are way overdue for repaving. Original, we've patched them. That's an advantage. I don't like tearing streets up, but I also don't like the other side of the issue. We've been mandated. Septic tanks are gone, okay? I've heard the alternatives. You look into the alternatives. I've spent some time since our meetings. There's a lot of flaws that aren't being told about these. Ooh, this will work. No, they don't work. And the state has said so, and that's why they're not being allowed in our state to be used. The Lake County Commissioner over here has I'm not going to put you on the spot, Sean, but Lake County is using a system that is probably, if you're going to go with a septic system style, Their system is probably, I think, one of the most superior that is in the state of Florida if we went that way. And I think that needs to be looked at and addressed. We're on a time schedule here. State of Florida has said in a law, you shall do. So we are under the we shall do. The decision is, what do we do? And I heard a lot of things too, Jim. Oh, we're gonna, you know, this stuff's gonna be dumped in the water, drinking water, so forth, so forth. Not gonna happen. I heard we're gonna put pipes down 65 feet and pump the stuff down. No. The misinformation is what bothered me tremendously. There is so much information that's wrong, or I heard from somebody, so therefore that must be true because somebody said. Now, the amount of time that I've spent, I do not regret it. I've learned a lot of things about systems. There are advantages and disadvantages. There's a cost involved in the sewer system. Yes, you're going to pay a monthly fee. There's also a price involved if you use some of the alternative septic systems where you have to have an engineer certified by the state, which means you will pay rates that you have no control over when your state certified lab says this is your bill. You're going to say, well, I can do it myself. No, you're not. You're not, period. You may be at $100 a month or more. You're going to have no control over that. I don't think you can even get into a contract with a pharma or a lab to do this. There's been talk about the pollutants, the plastic pollutants, what happens to them. There's a lot of studies that say gray areas. They don't know if they're going to be pulled out of the system or not. The sewer system has advantages with newer technology that is addressing those. I'm open to solutions, but I have to agree with Jim. Septic tanks are done with. That's the end of our history on them, so we've got to move forward to something else. As to what, we're still looking, I think. My 2 cents.
All right, thank you very much. Jim?
I agree with everything, but everything has its place, that one that Jim has said. And one of the issues have been with the county, it has to do with the distances involved, how you run pipes and stuff like that. That's not our problem. Ours is density. And municipalities and government and small areas and even large area municipalities go sewer. Because you can do all those pipes and interlock and bring them all together. For Lake County, it's impossible. I shouldn't say impossible, but how many hundreds of lift stations would you have to have going from one point to another, you know, for one rural road down the road. And so there's a reason why rural areas are stuck with septic. And there's a reason why I'll get out in a second. Urban areas have gone with sewer systems. Now we had Bob Tomlinson's not here tonight. I saw that, you know, he'd mentioned about a couple enhanced septic systems that improve your septic system that we could do individually. I kind of like that idea. Well, one of the reasons I went to this seminar in South Florida for the League of Cities was to talk about sewer and septic systems, specifically, actually. And while there's a use for that, and the county is using it, because they don't have the option of running hundreds of miles of sewer systems. We do. And we also, not only that, but we also have grant money to do it. Now, you're going to get into the enhanced septic systems are not going to do what we really want them to do. Take the phosphates out. Take the chemicals out, and everybody these days is dumping their used or old medicines down the toilet. It goes into the water system. You know, now they find that the water system's got things like, you know, diseases in it and whatever. Well, that gets back to your begin with the bacteria. That's critical, the bacteria. And so, rather than have what do we have, 600 septics? 600 septic system owners all doing what they want to do, we're going to have I want one centralized system. Now, the location has been a big brouhaha. And the location that was picked, and you've heard the engineers on it, and the best location was near where most of y'all live. most of you made comments about smells and whatever, and I respect that. And so, because of that, I thought, well, let's see if we can't get Plan B. Plan B was originally and always has been back to the Setzer property, and that's Plan B. And now, we had heard that it just wasn't gonna work out from the EPA, but I think it can work out. Plan C may have to go to enhanced septic systems. I was talking to one of our local septic people today. We're very well known in Montverde because he does almost all of our septics. And he was talking about the advantages of them and whatever, but he was also talking about the huge expense to them. They're pretty darn pricey. Paul, what was it, 30,000, 25,000? That's what he was saying to me.
24.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they're pricey. Is there a possibility we could get grant money to pay for that? That's possible, but probably not because we're running out of time. We pushed this thing a little fast, y'all got upset, and now we're at a timetable where if we don't do it, we're probably gonna have to give the money back to the county. And the county doesn't have to give it to us or use it to us. They can use it for other places and people. So I assume that's true, is it not? I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but you know.
What,
Yeah,
about timing?
Yeah, and the money, and it goes back to the county. You don't have to give it to the residents of Mount Verde. You can get it anywhere in the county, right?
Yeah, we're trying to keep it, we want to commit it to a alternative water supply or a water treatment project in South Lake County, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody else wants to build a water treatment project.
Yeah, there might be a neighbor to the east.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
to the west, I'm
So-
sorry.
so-
The east is the lake, to
Yeah.
the west, that
So our aggravations and everything else might be somebody else's gain.
it could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Okay.
You still got time.
Well, so we're back to placement of the sewer system. Well, actually, we're back to number one, build the sewer system or not. I personally have gone around and around this tree 15 times, and I finally, at this point in life, agree that we need to build a sewer system. It is what we need for this town, this municipality. And we got the money. Plan B on placement. Well, obviously, the idea of placing it where it was the best location, most easily to get done, and everything else has been a failure. Because we need the town support. It's just that simple. We need town support. And so, I think we should go ahead and go forth with the getting confused, sewer system, and try to get it onto the Stetcher property we own, which is, there might be a few neighbors upset, because that's always true. Somebody's always upset, always finding reasons and grasshoppers or whatever, you know, so.
Jim, can you put $1 bill on it?
We're at?
No,
You
we're not
put
taking
a
any
$1
comments.
bill on it.
Let me say something. We're not taking any comments right now. Okay? Thank you.
Oh, boy, he says go forward with it.
Okay.
Put $1 bill in it.
All right.
What's he saying to me?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'll get with you later. That's it.
Okay,
Carol?
great. Thank you very much. Carol?
As a resident, I prefer my septic system.
Carol, bring your mic to you.
Please.
As a resident, I prefer my septic system. I've always, every place I've ever lived as a child growing up, it's always been septic with the exception of one house up in Longwood, and had the opportunity, I didn't own the house, I was renting it, but the landlord had the opportunity when they came along in unincorporated Seminole with Longwood, he had the choice, sign on, you know, and it wasn't offered for free, sign on, $3,000, and you're on, or if you don't, and it goes by, something happens to your septic, you won't have a choice. You'll have to sign on at that time. He opted not to do it, which personally was fine with me. My neighbor did sign on to it. Right? Within a year's time, not necessarily the water bill, but by the time you tack on the treatment for the sewage, it was more than 3 times in what it had been prior, before she got onto the sewage. Of course, made me ecstatic because my water bill was really cheap, and did not have to sign on to the septic. Having said that, I realized that the state is going to put us in a position sooner or later, whether we like it or not, that we will have to have some form of central sewer system. I am convinced of that. And that's, I think that's kind of, from my perspective, that's what started the whole conversation. It's like, okay, the state's gonna kind of force the issue. We should at least spend the time and effort to look into it, and see what our options are, see what the possibilities are. We go through the surveying, we go through the engineering, we go through purchasing a location, go to the meeting at the old library. As far as, again, as a resident of Montverde, the only caveat that I could pull out of that was the fact that, okay, I'm going to get reclaimed water. And being that the bulk of my water goes back into my yard, that's a good thing for me personally. You know? And I was under the impression that when sewer comes along, the reclaimed water comes along with it, and that kind of sort of turns out not to be the case. Had the opportunity, you know, when sewage comes along, you can sign on free of charge. Town will pay for it. Yeah, I kind of don't think that really holds a big bucket of water either. I know if you're in the first phases, there's money there right now to cover that cost. Everything else going forward, that's well, we can get money. Getting money and having money, two different things. I'm one of those, I don't want to spend money that I don't have. And I'm not going to bank on the fact that there's maybe money coming in the future to cover the cost to have me, as a resident of Montverde, put on the sewer system. I think as this thing has gone along, to me it feels like shifting sand, and I do not like standing on shifting sand. I like standing on solid ground and knowing that there's a definite point in a right direction in the future. And I don't see that the central system is going to be the way to go. I think that too many variables, too many unknowns, too many things that, yeah, this is going to happen, and in reality, no, it's probably not going to happen. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with the idea of putting in a central sewer at this point.
Alrighty.
Don't get me wrong, though. I do understand the need for it. Okay? There was a very good point made by Mr. Peacock that if anybody went down to Lake Florence and you looked at it, you saw a remarkable difference between what it is right now and what it was 4 years ago. And I do believe that there's a lot of damage having been done to Lake Apopka. And I'm a big supporter for my environment. I don't personally, septics do contribute to it, but we're Montverde. We're like this. Everybody else is like that. I don't think that what we put in right now is that big of a push. Sooner or later, the state's going to make us do it. And at that point, we may not have the choices that we have today. And that's one thing that all of us living here need to carry forward. Okay? When your septic system goes, if you don't have the choice and you have to go on a monitored system, that may start $60 a month to start with. Next month it's 120. Next month it's 150. You have no control over that, but the state's going to say that's what you have to do. So whatever decision this council makes, you know, if the sewage comes or if it doesn't come, it's really going to come down to what the state wants to do. So even if I say right now that I am not in big support to it, I know that it's coming in the future. And we're all going to have to bite the bullet and deal with that one way or the other. That's my opinion.
All righty, well, thank you very much. I have a few slides I'd like to show, if you could bring them up. All right, first one is explaining, what I'm going to do is explain the different things that are our options right now to look at, so everybody gets the same lesson. This is obviously putting a sewer system plant on Stetzer property, back up on that Stetzer property. Let me explain why it came off there first. It came off there because we were told that we were going to have to put a rib system in, and the rib system is a leach field, and we would need so many acres to put the system in. So here I am listening to the meetings. I don't know how many we went to, and with the engineers and all. So it was, you know, it was probably 4 acres up there that's clear and we could use, and wasn't gonna be big enough for the rib system. So that's moved us out of there onto looking in town for a bigger piece of property, which obviously led us to the Hunt property. Obviously, nobody wants it there. We respect that. And so we came back and we're looking at where can we put the sewer system, and then we were introduced to the idea of you can take the water that comes out of it, and instead of putting it in a leach field rib system, you can put it in big containers, and big ones, really big, and store it there and use it as reusable water with a very small rib system as a backup. So all of us were, very interested in that. So we wanted to learn more. So, here it's explaining the storage tanks and what the plant would be reusable water and, what did I write? Separate pipes in the water installed alongside the sewer. And then the reusable water would provide homeowners a cost-effective way, like we all talked about, to water the yards. Because when you put the lines in the ground for the sewer, you can run the reusable lines in the same hole. So it's not like you have to dig two different holes. Not a lot more money to dig the hole, just more line material. So then the cost estimate, these are just estimates because we just did the RFP for the plant, so we got a rough idea. $12 million for the plant, and for the, I think it's like 1 million gallons worth of storage, and it's going to be about $4 million. That's $16 million. These are round numbers. We started at 28.8, we spent $1.4 million, and we got 3.6 left of the ARPA fund. The ARPA fund is a different grant than the other two grants that we got. They add up to, I think, 23 or 24 million. So the ARPA fund is the fund that, let me talk about that more in the end, but that's a totally different grant. The other two grants, we're not in a rush to spend. We have time on those two. It's just the 3.6 we have left that we have to do something with. Okay, so the remaining budget would be around $10 million to pipe as much as possible in the ground and feed it to as many areas as we possibly can. Of course, it would start off at the Stetcher property, so it would be coming from there. And obviously the plant's going to cost money to run. So as a council, we're going to be looking at how can we generate the most revenue with the $10 million so we could pay for the plant expense. And that gets a little twisted a little bit here and there when you start getting into that. Let's see, I think I explained that all pretty good. Let's move on to the next system, which is the advanced septic system. I had the system that Lake County is doing, I had them come and meet with Paul and I. It's called, what's it called again?
On-site.
On-site, yep. So on-site came in, and they're all about the same, the advanced septic systems. They're 3 different compartments, and the one compartment takes the fluid in and whatever else, and then it breaks it down with chemicals, and then it stores it in the middle, and then the water goes on to the 3rd compartment. I'm no expert, but it's a lot better system. It's gonna, I'm told it's gonna cost about $60 a month for a vendor to monitor it and make sure that it's working correctly. If it stopped working as for any reason as an advanced septic system, it still is a septic system at the end of the day. So it wouldn't just stop working, it would still work. It's just the way it gets treated while it's in the tank. That makes the water come out more purified, so it's not polluting as much. And what goes into the problem here, and you can see what we got going on with the money and all, the 3.6 can be used for these systems, but that money has to be obligated by the end of this year. And if we don't, we lose it, but we still have $23 million at that point. Now I'm hearing that we probably could take, and let me ask you, you're here. If we were to, I didn't get the chance to talk to you about this, but if we were to say to the county, because the county manages the money, not us, and we say to the county, hey, we have people that's interested in the advanced septic system. It's $24,000 average, because a two-bedroom, one-bath house is 20, a four-bedroom, six-bedroom house with 3 or 4 bathrooms is 24. So if you just use 24 to be safe, we have 3.6 million, that's 150 houses. Not a bad number. So I'm looking to ask the county if if Mount Verde can say that we're going to get 150 people to look at this and sign up for it, and it's going to take us a year and a half, 2 years, would the county be willing to talk about that and not take the money away from us?
Yeah, so if you're asking if the ARPA allocation would still be, you could still use it. You would not have to have 150 names on the list by December 31st. You would just need to say to the county that you are going to get 150 homes, and then that allocation would still be
Okay.
viable to the town.
And I kind of knew that because I've working with the county for all the years. I know how they treat Mount Verde very, very well, by the way. The county manager, the county commission, and the ISBA is a good example of that. So let's say we can sit here and say to ourselves, okay, I don't know if I want to put one in my yard right now because I like my septic, to be perfectly honest. I've never had any problems with it. And but I'm sure there's people that are going to need a septic in the next year or two, and they would look at this because we could pay out of the 3.6, 100% of that septic going in. Okay, that's very attractive to people. So that, we'd have to inform everybody and sell it. Do you want to mention anything?
I just wanted to correct what was said. We have to have the money encumbered under the agreement, and so that means we have to at least have a contract with the provider who would be putting the septic systems in. So the county may be okay with us just saying, we're going to do this, but ARPA federal guidelines would require that we encumber them, so we'd have to have a signed contract.
So we would have to sign a contract with,
A vendor.
okay, that puts them in, like OnStar, like the company itself. Okay.
There are a couple other advantages of that. Talking to Billy Wagner today, he says that he installs them and that they have a drain field. Not a drain field, but a pipe system for irrigation. And so you're really irrigating your yard yourself.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So with the money, and let's just talk about the money. Let me go through my stuff, and then you guys can talk about it. The money is there. We can get it obligated with a vendor, on-site vendor, and then we could offer it to our residents. And sure, there's going to be people that need their septic replaced, so they're going to be very interested in it. And then you're going to have people that like the advanced septic, and they're going to be interested in it. So do I think there's 150? I don't know. But we still have that money, so it's not lost. That explains pretty much the advanced septics at this point. The next thing is, if you could switch to the next slide here. Next one is connecting to nearby systems. We talked to Bella Collina. Bella Collina doesn't even have space in their system capacity to put the buildings, the houses that they're going to build soon on the 58 acres on Ridgewood. Everybody saw them take the houses out in front of their towers. There's 8 acres there, okay? And there's a little more than 8 acres, but there's 8 acres there they just bought. They're going to annex that into Mount Verde, making it, say, 70 acres from the 58 we already have, plus, say, another 13 acres. I'm just rounding the numbers off. There's 70 acres there. So once it comes into Mount Verde, they can only do 2 homes per acre gross, okay? And always add that gross number in, because it's not 2 homes, meaning half-acre lots. It's 2 homes per acre gross. And Paul and I talked to them, and they're moving forward. Okay, they don't fool around over there. As you go, everybody can see they're building houses. They're looking for more property. Not to get off that subject, but down Ridgewood, going towards the mobile home park, on the east side of the roundabout, on the right, there's 40 acres there that a guy in New York owns, and Bella Colina's been talking to them for the last 2 years to buy it. So sooner or later, they're gonna buy it. Why I bring it up is, that's in Montverde. So there's a 40-acre lot there, and there's around 65, 70 acres that Bella Colina's gonna start moving on right now. Which I'm all about them moving on everything right now, so we can manage the growth and make sure it's the correct product that we want in Montverde, not 10 years from now, and we don't know what happens. I'd like to add that, but, so we're gonna have, say 100, I don't know, let's say 130 homes that they're gonna build. Now, either they can't have any more septic in their system, because we found that out and we asked them if they could take us on. So if we don't do anything with sewer at all, they're gonna put a package plant on that property. We can't tell them where to put it. We can't tell them you have to put it over here or over there. They could put it right next to Mag Terrace, just so you guys know that, all right? I want to make sure everything's on the table, everybody knows what's going on. So, not that it's a threat, but that's a reality of what they could do, and we have no right to tell them what they can and cannot do. We talked to Claremont, no capacity. We talked to Mineola, we got a little bit of a, well, we could do it if we expand our plant, but we don't have any plans to expand our plant. So they're not going to step up and do anything for 600 homes. You know, if it was, 5,000 homes, they might do something. But they got so much building going on in Mineola right now to handle their problems. So I really wouldn't put any big numbers on Mineola doing anything. So we can't hook up to anybody else. That's more or less where I'm going with all this. It's not going to happen. Okay, and then the next slide.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a quick comment? When this is something I haven't heard anybody approach me about, but Bella Colina has the right to do their development. They said, their engineers 20 years ago said, we had this big piece of pie, we'll design a plant for us. And they did. We can't complain about that. Mineola, they did the same thing. Mineola knew where they're expanding up the Sugarloaf Mountain, all the stuff on Hancock, everything exploded. They said, hey, in the 2000, we're going to build this plant this big. They didn't say this big plus. So they're taking care, like we would do, of our residents. They're taking care of their residents. They didn't worry about us. So you can't get upset, well, why don't they do that? Because their taxpayers are going to say, why are you going to stick us with an increase because you did something for somebody who doesn't in our town? So from that point of view, I can understand why they wouldn't let us join. But like Joe has said, Claremont has no capacity. They're expanding a project now. Mineola is the same way. I mean, it's like someone coming in and telling you, I want part of your yard. You don't have no right to it. So that was what my takeaway, whether you like it, but that's what I saw.
All right, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, now the other option that we have is to join putting multiple plants in place. So we're going to have one in Bella Colina. If we don't do the sewer, we're going to have one in the Osgood property. And then the 40 acres that I just explained to you, where it is, Bella Colina doesn't have any room, so when they finally get it, which they're going to get it, I can almost promise you that, they're going to put another plant there. And then we're going to have to add, to do the town with separate plants, anywhere from 3 to 4 more plants, because they only handle like 200 homes. So you're talking 6 to 7 plants. We're going to have Bella Colina and Osgood no matter what. If we don't do sewer, we're going to have them pretty quick. So we have Montverde Academy has one, those two, and we're going to have one. We already have one down at the trailer park, but that's pretty far away from us. So there's going to be, say, 7 plants, separate plants in Montverde. There's going to be at least 2 right away, because eventually we're going to have to do something with sewer. Everybody knows that. It might be 40 years from now. That's the problem at this point. We don't know if it's 2028 or 30 or 2075. That's what's on the table at this moment. So all we do know is we do have $23 million that we could build a plant, put in the storage for the reusable water, small ribs in case we need it, and for phase one pretty much, and then grow it from there. That's a big problem, grow it from there. In my mind, all of a sudden, you get all the way over here and you're thinking, okay, we got that all in. What do we do now? What are we going to need to do? Well, we need the money to pipe all these streets. And by the way, we're not hooking up houses no more. Okay, when it was first in the library, we were going to hook your house up. We were going to plumb it, put it at your house, and you were going to have to pay nothing. Well, that's not the case anymore because we don't have all that money, because a lot of that money is going to be spent on the plant and storage tanks. So we're only going to be having a little less than $10 million to put pipes in the ground and try to get as much down into the city or town as we can. So it's either we do a little section and hook everybody up, or we put the pipes in the ground all the way down as far as we can go and get as many people in the area to look at it and hopefully eventually hook up. And then, of course, let me add this. Now, I sent this to you this morning about the bill. When you read this bill that I got, it specifically says that if a city or a town or a private industry puts a sewer pipe in the ground in front of your house, this says that you have 365 days to hook up, period. I'm being told now that, and that's from the state, I'm being told now that the way they enforce it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way they're enforcing it is the county and the city have to be the ones to enforce it. Well, I don't know, I don't know who's going to be sitting here in 5 years, 4 years, 3 years.
Is that a proposed bill or?
No, this is it. But I'm going to let Anita speak about it because she also did some research today. But that's how I read it. It's plain Jane to understand, and I can even put it on the web so y'all can read it too. But it says that if anybody puts a pipe in front of your house, you more or less have to hook up to it within 365 days. Do you want to add to that?
So the statute has two different provisions in it. One is talking about if your system is working fine, if your septic system's working fine versus if your system fails. So it's 365 days if your system is working, and it's 90 days if your system fails. But it is contingent on, is sewer available? And the statute tells us what availability means. And so in the statute, it would be for residents, and I'm going to talk about, establishments or residents where the flow is 1,000 gallons per day or less, because I think that's what would be applicable here. And so there's three contingencies. Available means the sewer system is capable of handling it, so you have enough capacity. DEP has not put a moratorium on connections to your system. And then they also have to have the pipe in the ground that is in a public easement or within the right-of-way abutting your property. So there's no distance requirement. It would have to exactly abut your property before there would be a requirement to connect. So the town would send notice. If you wanted to use that provision, you would send notice to the homeowner, and then they have that period of time to connect. But the statute doesn't say there's a penalty. It doesn't require you as the town to enforce that provision. So as you've said in the past, it would be voluntary. You don't have to enforce that provision. It's just that they would also have to have a waiver through the Department of Health, which is actually through DEP at this time. So there's nothing that mandates the town to enforce that connection provision.
Okay.
What's the point of all that then?
Statutes get written all the time where they say you must do X, Y, and Z, and then they don't give you a penalty or a means to enforce it. It's clear when you read the statute, they want people to connect. They want people to be on central systems. but they're giving the authority to the local government, if it's a publicly owned system, to enforce it. So it's up to you. If you find that, that someone continuing on their septic system does not cause a health condition, so maybe they're in a better location, they're not right on Lake Apopka, or, if the council makes that decision, then you can waive the requirement that they connect to your system.
All right, but let's say we have the plant, it's up there running, and we put pipe down 455 all the way to downtown, and we hooked up under the new development that went in, we just ran the pipe up to it, and they hooked up all their houses, so we're getting some revenue from that. And we even hooked it up to the school, and we're getting some revenue through that right now. So we got some revenue coming in to run this expensive plant. And it's 3 years from now, and there's 3 different people here that have no idea about any of this. And they say, well, we got the pipes running all the way down in front of like 300 homes, 200 homes. Well, let's enforce this. Let's tell them they have 365 days to hook up. That could happen. So that's what I'm trying to point out. We're all talking about here right now. We have to think about this council is going to change, and I don't know who's going to be up here. And this law is something that they could use to make you hook it up to your house. And guess what? It's 10 grand to hook up right here and now. So my last slide, which isn't up here at all. Let me add this while he's looking at the squad. The other grants for the advanced septic systems, not the ARPA that we have, the other grants for the advanced only pay 50% of the expense. They don't pay the $24,000. Okay, so if you want to, if we don't get you hooked up with one of the 150 ones that we have that we can pay for right here, and you come up and you're 151 and we don't have one, well, and we did get grants that we hope to get, which is doubtful too. Okay, now it's going to cost you $12,000. When a regular system's going to cost you $12,000. So
if you have if you hook up and you get this the enhanced system, and they pay the whole bill. I mean, this is not really tough math.
with the $3.6 million that we have, yes, that's true, that we'll pay the whole
And
bill.
that'll be about 150 people.
Yeah.
And the rest will not pay any.
The rest, now Paul has to go out and get more grants and find more money, and then those grants don't pay 100% of the system, 50%. So it's a $24,000
I've always said, if you avoid tearing up the roads and all that other stuff to put
Yeah.
a big, huge system in, wouldn't it be nice? But I didn't see anybody at this meeting who was selling these things and felt positive about them.
Yeah. Well, I
What do you
spent,
think? Between a central system and privately owned or individual systems, there's a lot of advantages to the individual system. The only problem is, will it meet all the new standards?
That's a big question for
Yeah,
a long
no.
answer, but
That's why we keep going, oops, sorry,
yeah,
guys.
I mean,
Round and
I
around
would
the same
say,
tree.
first, I cannot repeat this enough. I say it every meeting or every chance I get. The county's here to help Montverde,
Yeah,
and
you know,
I'll
and you
start
guys
by
are great.
start by saying that you've taken a very proactive approach on this, and you are, what you're saying is correct. That you're going to have to deal with this at some point, the issue of treatment. And the rules are already changed. Like you could not put in a new septic tank right now. It would have to go to the advanced. Even if all this aside, every one of us would have to do that. So you are being very proactive and you're very forward thinking on it. So can't applaud you enough for that. It's a very tough decision. Yes, if you can get to the sewer system, that's always the ultimate, the level of treatment, the highest standard of treatment. I can only speak for the DWTS. So you're saying advanced septic, it's actually not. It's actually distributed waste technology. Sorry to make the
oh, I'm
correction.
sorry, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference. So it's actually better than advanced. But I'm only speaking from the perspective of the county. We don't have the ability to do a sewer, so we cannot, we'll never be able to do that. So it works for us. It gets us about 95% of the way there for treatment. Today, we set the MSBU for our DWTS on-site system. It was about $55 a month. That's the fee that would charge. You run it just like a utility, essentially. Again, not to put it back on you, you have tough choices. Whatever way you go, we're here to help.
But if we went with 6 or 7 systems, Joe, how many personnel is that gonna take?
Yeah. Too many, yeah, too
Well,
many.
we don't have the money to hire all these people, and as you put these people through, it means your rates go up.
Right, but I guess if the two ways we could get a good rating for the water that we're putting back out is multiple plants or one plant. Everything else is not gonna be that, as clean as that. The advanced septics, and you're right, I did
That's okay, yeah.
misspeak. The one that the county uses is a sewer system. It's not an advanced septic system.
It's
It's
called a
actually,
sewer system.
it goes to 65% credit towards the credit of purifying your water, where an advanced septic system only goes 50%. This one actually got credit of 65%.
Right, based on what I remember from Mary Ann, I guess the state is going to issue nutrient load reductions that we have to meet, but those figures aren't available yet?
Yeah.
And that she wasn't sure that advanced systems would meet that. Right.
Yeah, this one meets about will reach about 95 actually, when you put a drain field in it, but
That's a lot
it's
more
not
than
the
65.
same as a sewer. The sewer is the best, but this will get you about.
It's better than advanced?
The on-site's better than advanced.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
approved by
step up.
DEP. Yeah. And again, the advan, I'm always speaking from the county's perspective. We set the MSBU, so we control the rate on it. We don't run it like a utility though. I mean, we don't have a utility, so we don't have people that are actually out there doing it. It is managed by on-site.
What would be the unit cost for those systems?
I think they're like 24, but yeah, but we're using ARPA money for it, our own ARPA money for it.
In line with the advanced,
Yeah.
but better.
Yeah, ours, yeah, it's better, definitely. Ours, we actually set it this evening, it's at $55 per month, so
What's
you
the
do need to be aware of that. It is like a utility.
What's the system called? What's the official name of it?
On-site.
On-site.
On-site, yeah.
On-site?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, it might be more than your sewer system, it's $55 a month, but
Also, but is this something we can go online and look at? I mean, is on-site is the manufacturer or?
yes, that's the manufacturer.
Yeah, like I said, Paul and I sat with the reps and the engineer who came down a few hours, and very interesting, and it's a sewer system, and it's your own private sewer system. Get a lot more credit for that system than an advanced system.
Okay, that was the other thing too, we haven't talked about, is the credits. When Mary Ann explained that to us, that we're under, load reductions for Lake Apopka. Even though they don't have the numbers, they can't tell us what the numbers are, but you have to meet them, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Put in the
let me
50
let me clarify real quick. So yeah, they're the TMDLs, and they're going to give Montverde an allocation in 2028. We don't know what those numbers are, and they're still doing the study. So we don't know what it is, honestly. We just don't.
And if I could just, because we've been struggling with that and trying to get the numbers, and even some issues like at one of the meetings, somebody was pulling up the map issue. It's hard to tell from the mapping. So I'm going to request that the state come and explain this. So I don't know when they'll do it, but and I haven't told you that this is kind of the first time I'm talking, but I'm saying it because it is frustrating to get some clarity on it. So I'm going to personally ask on behalf of the commission to come and have them come and explain it, what they mean, because there is still some questions about that. But other than we do have to do something.
All right.
We're going to have to do something.
Okay,
We're
well,
trying to plan for something, but we
Yeah.
don't know what to.
I talked to quite a few others.
No, and I don't mean that it's going to be this for the nutrient loading coming from stormwater. I mean, that's only part of it. You're going to have to go beyond that.
But it's gonna be, at this level, it's gonna be either or. Because we're not gonna, I don't see building a half-done sewer system or half-used sewer system.
I'm not following.
Huh?
I didn't understand
You know what I'm saying to you?
what we were saying, no.
If we're, I mean, we should make a decision, if we go with, even if the enhanced sewer system, individual sewer systems will meet requirements to a degree, because we know it doesn't meet all requirements. And then I'll sign up for 3 now. If you're gonna give me the money for it. I need 3 systems. I mean, it's really a no-brainer to me.
You know.
Right.
Right, but remember, that's very limited. We only have enough money to do 150 units. So I'm pretty sure we could get rid of
Now we get to
them.
the money.
Huh?
Let's talk about the money part.
Right, and the money part's the killer of the advanced or the sewer systems, the individual sewer systems. You only get 50%. So if you're going up to a person's house, if you came up to my house and said, hey, I can get you a system and put it in your house for free, right now I'd say no still. But let's say you came up 2 years from now and said, because there was no free stuff, you said, hey, I'll give it to you, I can get you 50% for it, and you have to pay me $12,000 to put it in. I don't have a problem with my septic tank right now. Why am I going to do that? You know, so that's kind of where I think a lot of people would sit back and think about it. So I don't know, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the regulations are going to be in 28 or if they're going to be in 1988 or 2088. So, you know, until we got more definition on it, I don't know. Because the only other thing to look at was the sewer system in Stetcher, and spend the $26 million or $23 million, and then we have to get people to hook up to it. That's the problem.
Your
What's our
hookups
deadline
are gonna be what? 10,000? Yeah.
8, 10, yeah.
8 to 10,000. And so that goes a long ways to paying 50%.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, yeah. So that's where we're at. That's what all I wanted to do is explain what we're trying to figure and weed through right now. It's a lot more complicated than it looks.
I apologize, Carol.
Joe,
Go ahead.
if the one system is put over on Stetcher with the water storage, does that mean some of these other smaller plants will go away, or?
Right now, if we made a decision to do it, we probably could get the one on Osgood to be okay. I don't know if we'd get it in place fast enough for Bella Colina.
Okay.
So it's only one extra one. Because they don't have to wait for us. You know, they don't have to do that.
Okay, but if they're putting in, why does the town have to have responsibility to maintain it?
We don't.
We don't, okay.
No, I mean, if an HOA puts in a sewer, we don't have to take it. We can, if we work a deal with them, but we don't have to do it. They need to take care of it. You know, the HOA will take care of it. Now, that might wind up being a problem 10 years from now, but I don't know. That's a whole different, you know, conversation.
discussion on that one.
I would think it would be a problem.
You know, town maintaining 5 or 6 plants, that's crazy.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
Right. But remember, it's not one plant going in Hunt property. It's going to be 5, 6, 7 plants in Montverde. So everybody's going to have one behind their house. And by the way, I have Montverde Academy's plant 300 feet from my house for the last 29 years. So I'm already there. And it's okay. I mean, it's had its problems in 29 years. And, you know, I'm right there. I look at it all the time. And I have the phone number if I think there's a problem.
Yeah, so Mayor and Council, just reinforcing what Mayor Weinkoop said, that I have been in discussions with both the developers for Bella Colina and obviously the Osgoods. I'm expecting to see some submittals on both of those here within probably the next 90 days. Our code does require all the developments put all the dry lines in for a sewer system. And just obviously because the town, we know someday that's going to be mandated. So the town doesn't have to eat that cost down the road. So with that said, definitely I've, with the Bella Colina developer, I've had the conversation with him. It's much cheaper for him to put a package plan in than it is a on-site system, because he would have to pay $24,000 a house with the package plant. The lines are there. It's going to save him probably up to $1 million. to do that. And from my initial conversations with them, I don't, they're looking at it when we told them after the last meeting that the sewer may not go forward. They started immediately looking at the package, and, they're immediately running the same issues we ran in with other locations. They have the wetland on the bottom side by 455, and where they use the least lots, unfortunately, is going to be kind of up on the high side, kind of where the Hunt property was, but on their side of the property. So if the Osgoods will have to dry line as well, they're going to have to run that analysis. Do we put an on-site system, because that would be their only other option, or they would have to dry line, then put the dry lines in. I'm sure when they run the analysis, they're probably going to come up with Bella Cleana came up with, and it's probably cheaper to put in a small package plant, because DEP will only require those package plants to the minimum state requirements for what those are, where everything the town's been proposing has been much more advanced as far as cleaning and ability like that. So literally, we're with little control that the council has. I'll let Nita correct me if I'm saying something wrong here. With little control of what the council can say, you can and can't put this in because this is DEP that says you got to have it. Their engineers are going to pick the best location and can't say, we don't kind of like that. We may have a little fudging room here and there, but we're not going to say put it down there and take half your property away. So we could be in a scenario in 24 months from now. We have Montverde Academy that we can have 3 separate sewer plants in town and 2 on the outskirts of town because we got the mobile home park and obviously Bella Cleana. So 5 separate sewer plants in the next 24 months, all right in Montverde or at the Montverde borders, or basically taking the 3 that could be built in town if you guys move forward with the Stetcher. So it's just something for
I didn't follow the
consideration.
5. Explain the 5.
Well, I'm just saying if you go to our town limits, just outside of our town limits, we have the mobile home park and we have Bella Cleana. And
Well,
I'm not
mobile
comparing
home-
those. I'm just saying they're
Mobile home
within
park's
range.
2 miles away, 3
That's
miles
correct.
away. That's pretty far. The Bella Cleana and Osgood, they're right here, and they'll be
Yeah.
brand new.
Yeah, so we would have 3 within 24 months instantly.
And that was that one slide. If we don't
Correct.
do them, then we're going to have so many package plants, we might as well just finish the town with package plants at that point.
But they will not be monitored or controlled by the town.
The ones we put in would.
Well, yes, right, but
Yeah.
the Osgood and Bella Cleana will.
We would have to have that discussion. They would want to turn them over to the town, but I'll let Anita might have some comments on that.
Yeah, you're not on.
Try it again.
Say it again, please.
I would recommend that the town not allow them to remain with an HOA operating them. Those have historically not been run properly, and the concerns that the constituents have about odor complaints and others would probably come to fruition. So it's better that the town take that over, or a private utility company, though I would recommend the town.
Let me interrupt. This is where I see it, and I obviously have more time to have it in front of me than everybody here, so let me just bring you up to where I'm at. We have $24 million and $3.6 million. The 23 and 24, that money there is not in a rush to spend. Okay, we have time to think about it. The 3.6, we can offer to everybody in the town if they want to do an advanced septic, not an advanced septic, an advanced sewer system in their yard. We can help them with that. So there's the 2 things going on in my head, and Bella Cleana and Osgood property, we're going to have some answers for them real quick here, and then they're entitled to their building their properties.
Joe, before you do that, you gotta make a decision on a centralized sewer system.
Well, yeah,
Because one is conflicting with the others.
right. So that's what I'm just saying.
Okay.
We have the choices that I said. And by the way, the slideshow, I'm going to put it on the web so you guys can sit there and look at it at home and kind of think about it.
Now,
look at it.
we could make a motion that we table the sewer system and for the foreseeable future, and get on with moving in enhanced systems.
Sewer system.
Sewer systems.
Individual.
Individual
Yeah, I
systems.
agree. And did you all hear what he's saying? That's kind of where I was leading. Right now, I'm in favor, like him, to put put the $24 million over here and then offer to everybody in the town the advanced sewer system for their house. Okay, why don't we go ahead and start taking questions? Come on up. She's been raising her hand for a while.
Andrea Young, 16326 Florence Oak Court. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. When you say you can offer advanced or the county system to the town, you are only talking about 150 homes.
That's
So
all,
we got the money for now.
that's all the money we have.
So but we have 600 septic tanks in this community. So that means no matter what, 450 people are going to have to pay the 50%.
Well, if we don't do sewer system,
Okay,
right?
okay. So if you do a sewer, you're going to offer advanced or the county septic system to 150 homes, and then you're still going to pursue sewer.
Maybe. We're not sure what we're going to do yet.
And then I'm just going to try to clarify, you did say that the state is mandating us to move away from sewers.
No. That's totally misunderstood.
Okay.
The state has not said you can't have a sewer system.
Okay. No, I'm sorry, I meant septic.
Oh, no, the state has not said you can't have a septic system.
Okay. All right, that's just what I.
But you will have to put in a new type of septic system.
Right, you would have
Right,
to
if
put
yours fails, you have to put in the advanced one.
At least the advanced septic system. you
And an
could
advanced
put in-
septic costs about $24,000.
No, they're not, they're a little cheaper, but not much. Maybe they're 20,000.
Yeah, there's
advanced
a
septic.
difference. There's advanced, and then there's distributed waste technology, which is what the county uses in other places too, but that's the difference. Like you said, if you went to an advanced, it is more money than the standard septic tank now, which
Okay.
in most places, they won't even allow you to do it anymore.
Okay. One more thing. If we do the sewer system, and we use, obviously, if you do it on the Stetcher property, there won't be enough money for you guys to hook everybody up. So that still comes at a cost. So if we do it the other way, it's like a 50% cost of the sewer system, and if we do it with septic, and if we do it with a sewer, it's still a cost. So no matter what, homeowners are out
Yeah,
money.
because we're not going to run it to your house now.
Right.
That's gone.
Okay.
We're going to run it in front of your house, and you're going to have to spend 10 grand to hook it to your house.
So the homeowners in Montverde are looking at least, I mean, if we just average it out, about a $10,000 bill.
At least 10,000. Average, 12, 14.
And council, just one quick clarity. We currently don't have, outside of this 3 million ARPA for the 150 homes, we do not have any grants currently or any pending
Right.
for additional. So there's no guarantee we'll be able to cover the 50%. We would just try to get
No,
those
right,
grants.
we're not,
So-
all we're saying is we have money for
We're
150
basically
units for $3.6 million.
So the other 50% thing could not even be on the table if we don't get the grant money.
No, right, yeah.
The simple fact is we found a central location in which would work perfectly for everybody, but the people daren't. And this is going to cost us a lot more.
I happen to live over in that neighborhood, and
I understand.
I would honestly tell you that I'd be willing to pay the $10,000 for it to be on the Stetcher property.
Right. but
That's what
now-
I would be willing to do.
Right, but
So,
now remember,
I
we
don't
don't
want to buy
have-
the water tower.
We don't even have the money to run the pipe in front of your house in
Right.
every house in Mount Verb. We don't have
Right.
that money,
I realize that I'm going to be put in a position where I have to choose one or the other.
eventually.
Yes. And I'm just telling you, I already realize now that, and I don't know if the rest of the audience realizes it, but we're all in it for about a $10,000 bill, no matter which way you go.
No, that's not true. If you're part of the 150 units right here and now.
I love you. I hope I'm one part of the 150 units.
I need 3.
You need, I only need one.
Okay.
We managed to come up with more money from somewhere in the future.
Randy Ellman, 16603 Lowry Road. I just want to clarify, everybody's on the hook for 10 grand if we do the sewer, and it's not what you told us back in the old library?
No.
Wow. Did y'all hear that? Did everybody hear that? We're on the hook. We're on the hook for 10 grand if they do the sewer, and they're not paying for the hookup, period.
Right.
Where are the people going to come up with 10 grand?
I never told you, other people told you that, not me.
Well, no, I asked them that I got to pump mine up the hill, so do you, I guess, some.
Oh, yeah, you've got a bigger problem.
And they said, we're gonna pay for all that, don't worry about it.
But that's not, you don't have any money for that?
No.
So it sounds like his system's a no-brainer. And
Yeah,
how many houses do we have in Montverde?
there's 600 septic systems, I think.
Okay, so 150 is 1/3.
It's a help. It's a help. Yeah, I mean, it's a start.
Okay. So it's a good start.
Well, I would think, once people understand what we're talking about, they're gonna raise their hand and
I
want it.
probably would do it.
Hell, yeah.
I mean, I probably, it sounds like a no-brainer.
You
And
might have to have a lotto.
we can, we can work on getting the money for the rest of the people.
But it's only gonna be money that covers half of that. They don't cover,
But
the grants don't cover it
But
all.
you're going to cover 100% of
Right.
the 150.
Right. And you have to sign up.
Where's
for
the
'em real
sign-up
quick.
sheet? You got it out here tonight?
But these are, again, I'm gonna send out what I just explained to everybody.
Okay, I just want everybody to know, they're talking $10,000 that you have to come up with if they put
Right.
the sewer in.
I'm not hiding it. I'm not hiding it. Come on up.
Hey guys, Joe Morganelli, 16535 Highland. I have a few things. I'm sorry, I got to get closer. I know. All right, I have a few things here on this one that I went through. We have, I reached out to Sean and asked him how many miles we have in Montverde. And it was 13 miles, right? 13, yeah, roads, I'm sorry, yeah, roads. We don't know the average cost. Woodward has never given us the average cost to actually pipe the roads, correct?
I don't think so.
Well, no.
You would think that'd be easy to get, but we don't know.
You would think there are a lot of things we could easily get from them, but we're not. So, anyway, all right.
Yeah, I mean, we've shown estimates before. I mean, it's a changing target number in today's world because the bids are so erratic. But that's kind of why we put it out the bid so we can start getting some numbers on stuff.
All right. My rough averages, not equating out to the new inflation that we have, was $50 to $200 per foot to run piping.
Where'd you get that, though?
Online, I just did some searches,
Okay.
basic searches. I mean, but we don't have anything. Is Woodward here tonight? All right.
And believe me, they don't say nothing when they're here.
No, that's a whole nother. But you would think they'd be here, I guess. Anyway, but all right. Average cost for homes to switch to sewer. Again, you have to calculate into that cost per foot for piping and everything. Then you have to get rid of the old sewer. I'm sorry, the old septic. You could be a lot more than, it could be close to 20,000 or plus for that, for each home. So where I'm going with some of these things, and all right, sorry, I have notes I've taken from you guys and everything. We also don't know the average cost to run the plant, correct?
No.
And they've never even given us an idea of this?
We have a rough idea, but.
Okay. Again, rough estimate from what I'm finding was 400 to 800,000 a year. That's on about 1,000 homes. Hope if they're off again, I would wish they would clarify that, but they're not. Are we going to need the pumping stations? That's another cost that we're going to have that we don't have. I guess where I'm sort of going with some of these things is whether you're for the sewer or not for the sewer, we don't have the money for it all. Like, we're really, my fear is, I mean, I think, if I remember correctly, Mineola's mayor came in and described some of the situations they went through when they did everything. And financially wise, it was a pretty bad situation for them. I just would rather not see us go down that road without having the information that we don't have. So I think one mentioned Mary Ann about the numbers for the lake. We don't have those numbers either, so we don't know. We're trying to put a system in place without having numbers to actually qualify for. We don't have the cost for the plant. We don't have the cost to run the pipe. We don't know how much to hook up a house. We don't know how many pumping stations we're going to need. There's so many questions. Like,
Well, that's why we're trying to do as good as job as we can explaining it right now. And it's tough, but the numbers we're talking are the numbers right now. I mean, we have $27 million. 3 of it we can do the 150 homes, 3 point something. The other 23.4, we have that money. We don't have to spend it for a year or two. One grant in a year, or the other 2 years, and The plant is estimated, this is our estimate, okay?
No, I know.
Okay, it's
again, I
$12
get
million.
that.
It's $4 million for the storage. That's 16 million, and we got, say, 24. So, what's
10
that
million,
for?
I think.
So,
I wrote
that's
down 10
$8
million
million
left.
left
All right, that's
to
less
put
than I
pipes
have.
in the ground. We haven't even gotten to the house yet.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I agree. I
No,
don't
I was
think.
gonna let him talk.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, no worries.
Go ahead. Okay, go. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, quick question.
Sure.
You and I,
We've talked.
we talk about 400 to 800,000. I get it, but is that a size of plant in Mineola?
No.
A Claremont plant?
No,
Is
I
that
did
a
a
Sand
basic
Lake
search.
Road?
No.
Is that a conserve too?
I did a search for 1,000 homes because we were also looking
Well,
at.
but what size is the plant? Because there's various plants that do various things, and the size is based on what they do.
I get it. It was on, I did a search for 1,000 homes, average cost. And that's why the average cost was 400 to 800,000. So 400, 800,000. And that was the average cost. And again, I wish Woodward was here. They could, they know these estimates. Like, I wish we would get those from them. They have some ballpark estimates, right? Like, but, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I guess
No,
the
that's-
issue is, if we're going to do this, if we go down the sewer route, people have to realize there's really not, most people are going to be paying for that. Like, that's something that we have to think of. So we have to look at the two different options. And personally, I think, can we pause things for a little longer? Like, would Lake, I'm asking, I guess Sean, but like, would they consider pausing things to give more time to figure this out?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We got $3 million we need to get allocated to
By the end of
150
the year, right.
homes. The other money is not in a rush right now. We're not in a rush. So if, at this meeting, I would say, hey, let's just decide together to put the $24 million on the side and move forward with offering 150 homes full payment of an advanced sewer system at their house.
But once you go down that road, that's the road you take. I
No,
can't
because
imagine you're going to go
If it comes down
down.
your road and you have advanced sewer system, you're not going to hook up to it, right?
Unless,
Not everybody, there's only
unless like we were
150
saying, the
homes.
state's going to mandate it down the
So
road.
we can't hook up 600 homes.
No, right.
We can't sell them. So if we can get 150 knocked out, that'd be a big number. And we still have the $24 million sitting here that we still need to figure out what we want to do with. We're not going to decide tonight. So that's kind of where I'm at, is if everybody's okay with
But I mean,
doing
could Lake
that.
County give us extra months to hold for that 3.4 million? Could they give more time for that, or is that something?
No, we have to, like Anita said, we have to
Has to be used.
obligate that money before the end of the year. And I think we have to sign a contract with a vendor and say, we're going to buy 150 units.
Okay.
Now we're going to be telling the people, hey, we already own 150 units. Do you want one? And I think there's going to be a pretty good demand for that. And we got to decide. He wants 3. I don't think it's fair to give him 3.
Right. Right. No, I get it.
But that's just me. So what I'm getting at is I think we'll be able to get rid of the 150 units in 90 days, or a little over 90 days. Okay, now we don't have the rest of the town plumbed. We don't have the rest of the town sewer, and we have $24 million. Now we need to figure out what we're going to do. But remember, what I explained to you is our choices.
Right.
And the plant's 12 million and the other storage is 4 million. We only have $8 million left. It doesn't go long when you start plumbing a town.
But are you saying then you would do half advanced septic and then also do sewer for other, like, is that where?
Advanced septic and advanced sewer. The advanced sewer is the unit that they use.
Right,
And
okay.
they used, I can't remember that name for some reason.
Distributed waste technology
Yeah.
systems, yeah.
And they're very professional. They came in out here. I would say that they can knock it out with no problem.
I have a line behind me. Thank you, guys. God bless you guys.
Well, I think even Osgood was looking at those units, right?
Yeah, they are looking at considering them. They just got to run the numbers because they got to do the dry
Right.
lines if that's going to make sense.
So there's 140 homes, 130 homes that the developer's thinking about putting them in. I want to mention though, unfortunately, if we don't do sewer, which I don't know if I'm a big fan of it, but we don't get any impact fees. and that's like $7,000-8,000 a house, so there's 140 homes that would not.
From the developers.
There's $1 million
From the developers.
Developer would have gave us if we had sewer. I'm not saying I'm for sewer, it's just, I need you guys to be aware of all the different factors. Go ahead.
Dennis Young, 16326 Florence Court.
Come a little closer.
Excuse me. What I heard you say is if the sewer plant was put up at Lake and Ridgewood, zero cost to hook up. Okay, I heard that's what you kind of said, you alluded to. But when we put it over to the 455 location, now you throw in the poison pill of the $4 million tank system. What's that for? Because what, the percolation rates weren't acceptable on that piece of land? Percolation rates tell me that you have a rate, if you expand the field, you get the same amount of percolation. Okay? Now, that $4 million for the tank, is that for the full up system, for everybody hooked up? Can you do a half system, $2 million, then hook up your phases 1 and 2, and then later down the road, put in another tank for another $2 million to catch the rest of the phases?
And I'm glad you brought up phase 1 and 2, because with the system going back over to Stetcher, there's not the same phases no more.
Okay.
So I might want to make that clear too.
Okay. When you do this, put all of those up there to give the cost to people so they can make their own choices. I disagree with your statement, sir, about the percolation. If I'm percolating my septic tank and it's making it to Lake Apopka or Florence, that's only so much distance. What's the distance from your septic system up there at Lake and Ridgewood to that thing, and how far down is it going?
I wasn't talking about percolation. I was talking about the
But that's where the water is doing.
No, I was just talking about the treatment. It's not treated. I don't care about percolation.
Okay,
The water
if
that
that-
comes out of the septic tank is the same that goes in from the house. It's not treated in any way whatsoever in the septic tank.
But out of the septic system, if it fails, that's a failure, then it is percolating into the sand right there near our well. If it's
Okay.
going from, okay, so
I'm just
your
saying
statement was that
it's
it's
not
perfectly
treated-
clean.
It's untreated water,
Okay.
untreated wastewater. That's all
I'm just
trying to
saying.
make.
But wait, no, what's the point?
Okay, the point is that when you do this analysis, give us all of the factors so we can make the decision better. Because you put in this poison pill of the $4 million and we can't hook up, now it's 10 grand a person. Okay,
I can only be honest with you.
okay,
I
well,
gotta tell you, there it is.
okay.
What if they can't pay the 10 grand? Then you lean their
Thank
house
you.
and own it?
I don't know. I've never done it
Take their
before.
house?
I've never put this in the city before. Go
Hi,
ahead.
good evening. Kira, Program 16443 Magnolia Bluff Drive. First off, I just want to thank you guys. I know you've put a lot of time into this over the last couple of years. And one thing that somebody pointed out recently is that there's been 2 years of work that you guys have put in, and now everyone has an opinion about it, and you guys are basically starting over again. So I just want to thank you for that time. But the reason why all of us are getting involved now is because originally we were under the understanding that us putting our 2 cents in the beginning in February 2023, we were going to get information back that we haven't gotten until now. So unfortunately, you guys have learned about all this stuff, but we haven't. So we're starting to do our own research. I'm not necessarily for or against a sewer system. I'm just starting to do my own research. I'm reading all the things. I'm reading all the minutes and then the meetings and things like that, and trying to get caught up and learn as much as I can. On February 28th, 2023, the Mineola mayor came in. He said, please don't make the same mistake we did. Make sure you have enough interest to run capacity that it at least is a break even. Get commitments in writing. When you don't run at full capacity, it's not going to pay for itself. Any cost overage is going to be paid for by the households, not just the ones that have sewer. So going back through the notes, in the presentation, we saw this map that has all these yellow dots on it, and that was the surveys that were filled out, basically of the residents just saying that we had interest in the sewer system at that point based on the information that we were given. There's only 138 homes on here. From what I can see, the plans for phase 1 includes Magnolia Terrace because they're the majority on this map. And from listening today, Osgood and MVA, because you guys are going to make money to pay for the rest of the system off of that. So another resident and I took the opportunity, since a formal letters were never sent out. Certified letters were supposed to be sent. That was a conversation that was had at that meeting. We did a survey quickly over the last 48 hours, I think, 48, 72 hours online, just to see what the interest would be now based on the information that we've gotten in a sewer system. And I made a couple copies, so I'll pass them around. So the original survey had, I think, 131 responses. 19 of them were Montverde Academy. I understand they own multiple properties. Another, I think, 11, if I'm doing this correct. Oh, hold on, I have notes. 19 were Montverde Academy. 7 were, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, I'm sorry, John Arnello, who also has a bunch of properties, it looks like, in town. But there was a lot of people that had interest at that point. There was 138. 131 of them were yeses. But from there, our survey today shows that we have 92 responses. I've lost my copy. I'll get back to you on the numbers. But the majority of them were not. Joe, you don't have those figures, do you? Okay, I'll get back to you on that number in just a second. But the majority of the residents now are not interested in a sewer system, or only partially. Thank you. 47 no's, 26 yeses, and 24 people still need more information. We feel like you guys don't have enough information for that yet. The grants that we received, $4 million is what you guys are talking about losing, or a little bit under that at this point. From what I read in the grant information, I thought that we can request an extension on that. Is that not true? Do you know?
It has to be obligated by December 31st this year.
So if we put in a request for extension, that wouldn't be granted? Is that what you're saying?
No, no, it would not. I mean, if you committed to use it for, be it on-site or something else, and I had it obligated with us, we're going to be good at the county. But,
okay, but the county just wouldn't approve it?
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, I would love to, but it's the federal guidelines. I mean,
Okay.
It's the ARPA Act, you know, we don't have any control over that.
Okay.
One thing I don't want to do is, you know, the county was given about $74 million, so I don't want to hand any of it back to the feds. And I mean, we want to keep it here in Lake County.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Another $5 million of the total, almost $30,000, needs to be allocated by 2026, and $19 million that we haven't received needs to be allocated by 2027, from what I read in the grant information. If we only have $10 million for this right now, something catastrophic happens to the sewer plant, who would be responsible for paying for those things? If there's any additional costs before we get in more grant money, or have more grant money, or have money coming in from other places.
You're saying if it blew up or something?
Yeah, if something happened catastrophic, who's going to pay for that?
We have insurance.
We have $1 million in insurance, from what we learned the last meeting.
I believe we have 10 million.
10 million over 600 houses isn't going to.
Oh, you mean all of them blew up?
I'm just saying. I mean, the figures, it's not a whole lot of money. $10 million is not a lot of money if it starts backing up in houses, even 150 if that's what's hooked up. Another question I have is, how long will the town be torn up? If we're just doing phase one, whatever phase one looks like, and then we're going to start collecting more money and grant money, how long is our town going to be torn up to run all of these pipes all over the place? It seems like we are duct taping pieces of this together as we get money in. And quite honestly, it just doesn't seem like we have enough money to fund a sewer project for our entire town. If we don't. And I mean, you build one here, you build one there, or you build one here and then you add on to it. I don't know. I think that we should research a project more fully and really understand how much money we need before we start making decisions on it.
You got me worried about it, well, we're gonna blow up.
I'm just saying, I mean, that's real. $10 million isn't that much money. Another thing that I was thinking about is, you were talking about managing the development now, because we don't know who else is going to be sitting in your seats. But with the water reduction needs and the load reductions that we have to come up with now, even that number that we don't know, why are we still allowing people to build in Montverde if we can't meet those numbers now and we don't know what those numbers are going to be? We're trying to put a plan in place for other residents when there's residents that live here right now.
The problem, you know, you gotta remember, people own properties. People have an entitlement to build on their properties. We did a study within the last year to find out how many entitlements Montverde had, because we need to know that as a council, planning roads or whatever we're gonna do. And it was right over 800. 234 were Willow Ridge. So we're down to under 600. So we still have like 500 and something entitlements on the little lots that you see around here, like over in Ridgewood, on the north side of Ridgewood, going towards 455, all that green going down the hill on that side. Oh, that's like 35 acres right there. It's all separately owned, but they all have entitlements of 2 homes per acre. So when you go around within the town limits, which that 40 acres on the east side of the roundabout on Ridgewood, well, there's you know, that's 80 homes there. So you start adding them up, you get to over 500 pretty quick. Never mind, you know, Osgood was part of that number. That's going to be like 130 homes. So we had, say, 800 homes that had entitlements just in Montverde, 800 when we did it.
It seems like we're stepping over residents that live here that are taxpayers to be able to help these developers build.
No, they haven't. We can't stop them. That's what the entitlement means.
But we're building a sewer plant for them to be able to use when other people who are taxpayers aren't going to be able to be put on it.
They can build their package plant.
All of the plans for this sewer plant that I've seen include my development, Montverde Academy, and the Osgood property. What about all the other people that live in the town that are going to have to pay for this sewer system? If something happens that is catastrophic, that comes back to the town to pay for, people who aren't even hooked up are going to have to pay for it, but we're funding a plant to be able to have a developer build houses.
No, well, honestly, my opinion, and I don't want to say honestly because that's not it, the way my opinion is, if we put the plan in place, we need money to run it every month. So if we came down 455 with a 8-inch, 10-inch pipe, and we ran it over to the Osgood, the front of the property, here's the square right here, we're going to get 140 customers. They got to plumb it. They got to do everything. So we're going to get that revenue. If we ran it over to the school, and the school was to hook it up, all we do is run a pipe to it. They hook it up. They have to. We're going to make money there. So right from that 2 spots, and going all the way up 455 to Stetcher property, anybody else that would hook up on 455, that's the revenue to start paying for the operation of the plant that we just built. Because I don't want, if we don't do that, then we're going to have your tax money paying for the plant to operate. And, you know, I got estimates of how much it's going to cost because I go to Mineola and I go to a Mascot and talk to everybody. And, you know, they telling me you can look at their P&Ls online and see what they're paying for their, you know, their operations. And they all look at me and say, are you out of your mind to build a plant?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
In my opinion, I think that until you guys have RFPs and understand what costs are truly, until you understand what all the options are, that there shouldn't be a vote to make any kind of decision. And if that means that you lose $3 million, you lose $3 million. If a mandate comes down 5 years, 10 years, 40 years down the way, there's going to be more grant money because they know that towns and people can't afford to do this.
And I'm 100% there with you on that.
I'm going to let someone else go, but thank you for your time.
You know what? The whole project at this point, the last slide, unfortunately you didn't get to see, was to trash all the money and just trash it all. Right here and now, and just wait and see what's going to happen in the next 10 years. That's an option. Okay, and when you get the slideshow, I'll send that out to you online. But that was the last slide here, is to just throw away to keep the grant money and keep the $3 million, keep the $24 million, and we're back to normal as Montverde for right this minute. Come on up.
Herb Heilman, 17005 Florence View Drive. The town put out an RFP for
A plant.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious as to where that plant is supposed to go.
Well, when we put the RFP out, we didn't have the council's approval to put the plant anywhere.
Right.
So we couldn't tell anybody where we were gonna put it. Wasn't trying not to be transparent. I saw online, everybody was going nuts over that one. We probably should have done it next week and not last week to put the RFP out. But we put it out, and to build that plant, whether it's on the Hunt property or on Stetcher, it's the same cost. So it didn't matter where it was going at that point. Now, we're trying to decide even if we're gonna do a sewer plant.
Right. The reason I'm asking is I listened to the call, and I heard that it's going to be awarded on October the 1st, and by October 31st, it's going to be built. We're going to start going, and by...
Well, here's the reason you
Yeah.
do that, is you can't ask people to spend a lot of time putting together a RFP.
Right.
And we're telling them we don't know when we're gonna build it.
Right. So, I mean, it was...
They wouldn't even bother to build it.
I heard that it was the earnest intent for the town to build it. So, I don't know, it just seemed like, what's going on? It doesn't sound honest to me.
Well, it's not that we're not being honest, because first of all, we didn't know where we were gonna put it. And second of all, who knows, we might decide to go ahead and move forward in the next few weeks here. I doubt it. But we can't tell people to spend 150 hours, 200 hours doing a 200-page RFP and not expect to get at least a shot at the job. They wouldn't even bother to spend an hour on it if we told them. And now that I'm saying that, now they're probably all throwing their pens
Yeah.
together.
Well, I think it aroused a lot of anxiety for people because they
It did,
figured, well, is the town going ahead with this? And they
Right.
said they put it on hold, and it sure sounded like it was the same plant that was going on Ridgewood and Lake, and so I just really
understand.
wanted to get a clarification on that.
Yeah, and the whole point is to get some actual numbers of the wastewater treatment plant.
No, I know,
Just
I
because of the
understand.
cycle, and we had to put some dates or expectation if the council does decide to move forward. This is the expected date. So,
Right.
so that's how it's presented. So nothing, they'll turn it all in, nothing happens. The council obviously has to give approval for any contracts that size.
Yeah, if we choose slide 6.
Right.
It's
I understand all that. I used to work in construction. I used to do estimating. So I understand all that. The thing that I heard was we earnestly intend on building it. So that was my concern.
Yeah.
But you've explained it. I understand. The other thing is I hear all the positives about the sewer plant, and obviously there are positives. But I never hear anything talked about really about the failures. If you Google sewer plants in Florida, you'll see numerous, not articles, but mentions of failures and problems with pumping stations, with various things. So I just think that all that should be considered.
House blowing up?
Hmm?
Do houses blow up?
No, I'm not talking about houses
I'm not
blowing.
gonna sleep tonight.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about houses blowing up. I'm talking about.
No, I'm kidding.
Just the failures in the pumping
Yeah.
systems. Power goes out, and the problems that occur, and the pollution that occurs from it.
Yeah, do I want to just quit right now and not do this sewer? Absolutely. But is that a choice? I don't know.
No, in other words, I'm not saying yes or no to the plant. I'm just saying that I think that everything should be considered.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I appreciate you coming here and being part of this.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, sewer gas is mainly methane, and it is explosive.
Yes, it is.
Andrew Elam, 17175 Ridgewood Avenue. My question is about the $10,000 to $12,000 hookup cost. Is that for like everybody, or is that dependent on the size of your property and what your property
Well,
looks like?
Yeah, good question. Like his house is, the road's here, his house here.
Yeah, that's the
And
same
he
with
has-
mine. So
you have to put a pump.
yeah, my property drops down 15 feet.
Oh, yeah, you're on the same road.
Yeah, we're 150 feet back.
Yeah, it's you have to pump it to the road.
So it's going to cost me substantially more money than.
To operate too. Yeah, it's not just installation, you're gonna pay for operations. And I sell real estate, and I'm here to tell you, when we walk up to a house and you see that little thing with the light on it,
Yeah.
that's a red flag.
Yeah, because we have two houses on there, and
Yeah,
So that's my
oh,
concern.
I know, you're down Ridgewood on the left side.
Yeah, so we got two houses, dropped down 15 feet, and they're 150 feet back from the road.
Yeah, you'd have to put pumps on it.
So my second question is that if we do have this 150 allocated septic systems,
Yeah.
should the people that are going to be paying substantially more be somewhat educated?
I don't know about that. I would say pay attention to what we're doing.
Yeah.
When it comes up and you want
Because if I'm
one.
paying 60,000 and everybody else pays 10, I mean,
Right. No, I understand.
I
but
don't want to be number one, but at least number 15.
I guess the council would have to decide how to do it. We haven't got that far yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, just to be fair with everybody.
Okay.
Well, you know, the original intent was to build the plant and hook up as many homes as possible as long as we had the money, and then go for additional grants to hook up the remainder of the homes at no cost. That was the original intent. You know, we never intended to charge people $10,000 to hook up.
Right.
And that's something that may happen, but I just don't see that.
I don't want to
you
say
know.
that.
But the original intent was never to do that. It was always to hook up as many as we could as long as the money lasted.
Yeah, our property was on phase 2, so we never really thought that we were going to be in that.
But
we-
again, now, the phases are not the same right now.
Well, we
Moving
never
up
were
to
going to be
step-
number one, so.
Again,
They're not the same.
You know, costs weren't finalized, and that was.
Yeah, I
you
understand
know,
that. So, but
we just, however it worked.
but everything changes now because if we put it back on the Stetcher property rather than.
That's cost to it, you're correct.
You're a lot further from it now. than
All
what
right.
it was- What it was.
Well, thank you.
So you might want to watch what we do with the 3.6 million.
All right, I got you on speed dial then. Thanks.
Natalie Galligan, 17041 Florence View Drive. I just had a clarification question. Did I hear you say that even if the town decided to go ahead with the sewer plant, that may not be in enough time for Bella Colina's sewer plant and that they are going to proceed on that property regardless?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will say from my conversation, they would like to hook into the town sewer plant, and they probably would make all accommodations if it takes another 6 months in order to decide if they want to put on Stetcher, then likely they'll build their own plant. If something's made in the next 60 days, that probably could work for their timing because it's going to take them a year to put everything together on their end.
Yeah, because remember, they're going to use lots that they would put houses on, which cost them a lot of money. So they don't want to do that, to put their sewer plant on.
Right, which is the same with Osgood. They would lose property
pretty much.
and
Yep.
money
Yep.
because they would be putting a plant on their property.
Absolutely.
Which is why they don't want to do that and they want to hook into ours.
Osgood's actually probably worse than that one, as far as where they can do it, yeah. That's right.
And that's the only advantage of Stetcher. There's still time as those developments come forward, if the council wants to move forward with that those two developments could hook in. And I want to be clear that they have to pay their pro rata share of the sewer plant. We're not using any of the town's grant money. So each of those developers are going to write a check for probably nearly or over $1 million for their pro rata share of that sewer plant. And do all of their lines at their cost, all their lift stations at their cost. So they'll have basically $3 million into the system, each of them.
So it's cheaper to pay us impact fees and let us pipe it to the corner and then they put the pipe in.
Also, one more thing. We are talking a lot about this could be this could be this in the future, a lot of unknowns. It could also be that if we were to hook 120, say, homes into this,
Advanced sewer.
thank you,
Yeah.
or, yeah.
Yeah.
And the numbers came back favorable, we would, and we hit the allocated numbers in 2028.
Good point.
It would be, I mean, if we're gonna talk about all the what ifs, we have to talk about them over here too, right? I mean, the what ifs possible over this way. So,
That's a good thought.
and I would also say that I realize we want to use the grant money, and I understand the thought of the urgency of that, but it's like a Black Friday sale. There's another Black Friday sale, and there could be even more grants in the future if we're going to talk about all the what ifs.
Right. No, that's why I'd say slide 6 is trash this whole thing. Wait to 28, 29, see what's going on. Because if the state says, Montverde, you got 650 homes, which developments around here are a lot bigger than us. And they say,
Right.
you got to put the sewer in, they got to give us money.
Right.
You know, if it's a $40 million project, our monthly payment's $128,000. We can't afford that.
Right.
You know,
Thank you.
thank you.
Matthew Bauman, 1122 Imperial Eagle Street. Honorable Mayor, Council, I've attended most of the meetings for the sewer over the last couple year and a half or so. And I think the council's been very forward-thinking about tackling this issue. I am a proponent of sewer. I have property in the other parts of the town. I'm not on the Mag Terrace side. I've got commercial property. And especially about commercial, it's really limited what you can do with just septic. So if you ever wanted like a full-service restaurant, that's almost never really going to happen on septic. I appreciate the interest in the advanced septic. I have looked into that some too. I'm really kind of curious what the ongoing costs are besides just the installation, because as an accountant, I've looked into it. I know there was a gentleman that had suggested NextGen, and I actually called them and got figures from them as far as what that costs, besides the $26,000 to install it.
Now, it's advanced septic
Yes.
and advanced sewer.
I know, but
Okay.
the gentleman that was here before was talking specifically about NextGen.
Huh?
I had talked to him.
Oh, yeah,
because
he's
he said
advanced septic,
after
yeah.
it was installed, there was like zero cost, which is not the case. There's monitoring, there's
Yeah, it's
electric,
not.
there's pumps, there's everything, and it comes out pretty high, because I originally heard that sewer would cost around $55 a house approximately, which is about $660 a year, and just the annual costs was $950 with that system. So
Right.
that doesn't include replacing the pumps and the blowers every 5 years if they don't fail prematurely. A lot of the other advanced septic has filter medium you have to replace every so often, so those are all additional costs to those systems. And I know there's a lot of hesitation about moving forward with sewer, but it is the most efficient system. It is the highest level quality of water treatment. If reuse is integrated, that helps with the CUP and the drinking water going forward with the city and all of those permit applications. And it offers a lot of opportunity. I agree there's a lot of questions, but I also want to bring up that taking too long to wait to start a project also increases the cost of that project, because costs are ever going up.
That's for sure.
And you lose grants, and yes, there may be grants in the future, but if the DEP mandates this, there's also going to be more applicants for those grants. And you may not be ranked as highly, depending on where we're located. I tend to think that's probably not the case, being so close to Lake Apopka and potentially the Wekiva River Basin. If they're more critically concerned, I believe the state would probably give more funds towards those areas, but it's never guaranteed. So I just want to speak for other parts of the town. I am interested in sewer. I have other lots in the town I intend to build on in the future, and I would do sewer. I've dealt with septic, especially in low-lying areas when you get a lot of rain and you get failures. It doesn't smell any better than a sewer plant. And I would invite people to go and tour a modern sewer plant. I've been to several.
Pretty nice.
And they're pretty nice,
I've been
especially the
there.
ones that I watched the video, the ones that they're proposing with all the enclosed structures. I think the only part of the plant that I toured that really had any odor was the screen where they take out all the stuff that comes in. And if that's all enclosed with filters, I think that would work out pretty well. I drive by a sewer plant on my way to work every day, and I've never had any problems. It's literally half a mile from my house. So I'm in favor of sewer. I think it's the best option. Right now, we have money to do it, but I agree, if you can't get enough people to hook up, it doesn't make much sense. So I think everybody needs a little more information, but I would encourage people to pursue that information. So thank
Well, I
you.
appreciate your time. Uh-oh.
There I am again. 17175 Ridgewood Avenue, Andrew Elam. My question is there a possibility to build a packaging plant with the intention of expansion later? So we take care of the important properties that have a large capacity of people, like the new Osgood property or Bella Colina that you can make revenue off of. Is there a possibility to we're going to build a small one to take care of the academy and these X, Y, and Z properties, and we have this land next to it that's going to be allocated for future expansion once we get additional grant money and additional money to pay for the installation to the rest of the town that absolutely needs it and maybe can't afford it? Does that ever?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the current RFP go out and the plan always was to do multiple phases, and the RFP includes a phasing plan in it where
They're designing basically 270,000 gallon trains. The state DEP requires one train just for redundancy, then the other one's for treatment. Then when you add on the next train, on their same systems, you add on the next train, then you still keep that one redundant train, and now you have 340,000 gallons. Complete build out for the town is estimated to be about 600,000 gallons. The first phase is the most expensive because you have to have those redundant systems and kind of your master lift stations and things along that. But that's the whole intent, just build what we can build with the money we have and stop, then keep going after the grants. And we got another 2.5 million grant application in currently with DEP. We have the state legislation appropriations that we're preparing those grants for, and we've been in conversation with St. John's for another $3 million worth of grants that's specifically for septic to sewer hookups. In addition, the developers will end up contributing a little over $2 million for future phases and stuff as well.
Okay, one follow-up question. So the stretcher properties, the big issue is obviously the wetlands there. Was mitigation for the wetlands ever considered? I know that's an additional cost. I don't know if grant money can be used for mitigation.
We reached out to them about putting a bike trail back there, and they laughed at us. Not really. So what this plan, why we can go back to the Stetcher property now is we're really not going to discharge on the Stetcher. Yeah. So the RFP would include tanks. They're probably like 1 million gallon tanks. And then we would pipe that water back in. It could go to the new developments, into the parks, especially because that's a big spray field where we can reuse that water. So instead of putting it in ribs in the ground, it's going to go straight to spray fields and reuse water. Okay. And then we don't have to worry about the wetlands. So basically, it's no more than a treatment plant with tanks is what the new plan would be. And that's why it does cost more. And that's why we have less money for roads.
So that's basically the state and federal government will not allow you to build anything on the wetlands or buy credits to do that.
It would be very difficult because it's Lake Apopka.
Yeah.
It's the wetland for Lake Apopka, which is drastically needed.
Yeah, I understand. I have 6 acres of wetlands in my backyard, so I do understand that. But I'm just me. I'm not a town, so I don't know if you guys got special privileges on that.
Yeah. Well, and actually DEP does have regulations where you can discharge the effluent into wetlands, but we reached out to them because the water is cleaner than what's in the wetlands, but they won't let you touch it with Lake Apopka wetlands.
All right.
We have less further than you.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Come on up. Hey, Jim.
Joe Morganelli, 16535 Highland. So if we go down that road, you have 135 people potentially for advanced sewer, correct?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Advanced sewer? 150. Okay, 150. Sorry, the mic. Could we, instead of council deciding, could we do something where you have people that are interested put their name in a raffle for Montverde and you can wind it up? And
Council has to decide on that, too.
I'm just, anyway, thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's money we have, so the council would have to agree. Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but in order to do this DWT, to secure the 3.6 million, we'd have to get a vendor. Okay. In order to get a vendor, you have to put out bids. And it's taken us forever to get responses from vendors.
Not from those vendors. They'll
Well,
be
that's
knocking
what
on
I'm
our
saying.
door.
We have to go through a protocol to say, send out the bids,
Yeah, but
request
we
bids.
only need 3 bids.
All right.
And if we're looking to spend $3.6 million, they're going to be knocking on our door tomorrow.
We hope. So
that's
I
not going
was
to be a
just
problem.
like,
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, so just real quick on that process, because it is over the state limit, we do have to publicly bid it, but there may be an opportunity to piggyback on the county's contract. So we're kind of coming back to timing because council will have to make a decision. A contract would have to be negotiated, approved. We would have to set up a utility to collect the fees for the running of it. So it would be tight, but it would have to start pretty quickly. You guys would have to make that decision, just realistically, to make it happen.
Well, I'm glad you said that because you reminded me. Us 4 have to go home and think about coming back to our next meeting and agreeing or not agreeing with taking the 3.6 million and put it towards the 150 units to offer to the people in the town. So go home and think about it. You don't have to really say nothing now. You need to come back and be able to decide on that.
But we're talking about the on-site system, not the advanced, right? Because we still don't know if
His-
Advance are
yeah.
gonna meet their load requirements.
No, it's the
Correct?
on-site I'm talking
Yeah.
about, because we can
On-site
piggyback on
DW
their contract.
On-site DWTS, and you would
We can
think.
piggyback?
Mhm.
Yeah, you could.
I would
We-
vote yes on that
We
right
have
now.
to, we have to look at, to see whether we can piggyback. That's something, it's a potential, but I don't want to say absolutely without looking into it more.
The lawyers do it every time.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
And the other option that you have is instead of paying 100% for 150 people, you could pay less for more people. So that's an alternative as well.
Yeah. Come on up.
Sorry, I have just one more thing. Cura Program 16443 Magnolia Bluff Drive. While you're talking about the Stetcher property again, one thing that has come to mind is that the fire department is starting to build on the property, property next door, with expansion opportunities. And I'm just saying this for something to think about for you guys. Is their location on the property going to hinder any ability for us to continue to build on that property? If they were to build further back on the property, would that keep you enough away from the wetlands that you can expand where you want to expand?
Well, the system that we're looking to build with the storage that will fit there right now will handle the whole town.
They can't go further back on the property.
Yeah.
With their site plan and the turn radiuses for this apparatus.
Gotcha.
Where is the
Oh, for the fire department, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the 3.5 acres, 4 acres that's left is more than enough to put the plant and the storage for reusable water
Yeah, they're not gonna change their location.
for the whole town.
And we talked about like the beautification, we talked about smell and things like that. I don't know very much about this system at all, so I would just caution you guys to think about those things for the people who live there. I'm thankful it's not behind my house, but it's still going to be near other people's houses, so I don't know
Right.
very much about that, but
Well,
thank you
that's-
again.
That's kind of the whole problem.
Yeah.
Everybody wants one, it's like the dump, but they sure don't want it in their backyard, but they
Mhm.
fill their garbage cans every day and expect them to go somewhere.
My
That's
thing is
big-
the best
it's
thing
like
for
class
the
warfare. We
town.
don't- You know, class warfare gets this, we don't want it, but we want it over there.
I don't want to lose $100,000 to $200,000 on my home for it being behind my house, but I don't want someone else to either. But I also don't think that we have enough money to fund this project right now the way it is. So I'm just trying to look at all angles, but thank you again.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I don't know, we beat it pretty hard tonight.
Yeah, but did we advance anything?
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, we have more questions, but no answers.
Right, but we're moving it forward.
I mean, we're talking.
It's slow, it's slow. I feel we made progress here because we educated all of us a little bit more.
Well, I'll give you that.
Again, so everybody understands the systems that we have, I'm going to put these online so you can read it, and it's all my opinion, okay? So don't take it to the lawyers.
We don't need to make any decisions
No,
tonight.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
No, so go home, the council go home, think about the 3.6. We're going to probably have another meeting soon, hopefully, and let me see, tomorrow's meeting is only the budget, and the 18th was going to be, what was that topic?
The 18th will be the second reading of the budget and also approval for the $100,000 for the boat ramps. The only
Okay,
thing
so,
on the agenda
so
on that
the,
one.
tomorrow and the 18th are not the sewer topics, so don't worry about that.
Do you want to do it at the
maybe
regular
for-
council, Mayor, or do you want to do a special meeting after the
No, I'm
regular
thinking let's
council?
try to do one before the end of this month. And,
We can add it to it, one of those meetings?
no, unfortunately, I'm not going to be here for the 18th. So it's my wife's birthday, so I can't be here, but,
It's her birthday, but you won't be here?
why don't we try the 24th? That's a Tuesday. Can we do that?
Just 1 second.
How do you look, Anita? We can do it a Wednesday, Thursday, it don't matter.
Yeah, it looks like the 24th would, Sean, are you okay on the 24th?
Tuesday the 24th? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's plan on having a sewer topic on the 24th. And the council will hopefully be able to vote on the 3.6 million going towards the advanced sewer system for individuals. And then we'll also talk about this topic more on what to do.
Mayor, may I make
Yeah,
just
go
one more
ahead. Sure,
suggestion to
sure.
add a little bit of time, but we would have I think October 3rd, the RFP bids for the wastewater treatment plant are supposed to be back, and so we'll really know how much money would be left over to
Well,
play
whether
with.
it's, whether it's 8 million or 10 million at this point, it doesn't matter. That's my opinion, just if anybody else thinks something else, All righty, that's it. Thank you very much for
Motion
coming.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay.
That's the, I didn't know it was going to cost so much.
Thank you.